I shouldn't ever second guess our audience because they're so awesome. Like they're as big nerds as we are. And they're in chat they're all going, no, this is fun. Oh, I love Will's games.
You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
The wasteland is a post-apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core comes gross atomic waste. From deep within the core comes gross atomic waste.
Hello and welcome to episode 423 of the Fallout Feed. We are the show that compares and contrasts Fallout experiences through a lively roundtable discussion by playing through the same quests with characters who have been randomly assigned drastically different attributes. Good evening, I'm Ray. Joining me tonight is Jess.
Hey, Ray. Greeps, everybody.
And good friend of the show, Will.
Hi, Ray. Jess, how are y'all tonight?
Fantastic.
And not joining us live right now is Andrew. Andrew is on the road, so he may pop in, he may not. But the show must go on. We have feedback to get through. Tonight, we have feedback from Clint, Katherine, Sullivan, Suliore, and Steve. And Will is going to torture us with one of his fabulously fun games that make us scratch our heads. And we will get started. Yes. Did you play a little video games?
I did play some video games this week, but not much. For those who listened to last week's episode, you realize we recorded Sunday night. So we've had just a few weeknights between then and now. But what did I do? Well, we had a Fallout 76 update, and I can never resist a good update. Got to check what's in those patch notes, got to test it and try it and all that. So I got in Tuesday and it was fun. So I was just going to get in and test some things. Most importantly, Graham's new inventory. Did you guys hear about Graham's inventory? Have you seen it yet?
I haven't seen it. I did hear that he has a bunch of new stuff, but I don't know what all it is.
Oh, some amazing multicolor plans, picnic tables, and mirror balls, and all kinds of excitement. So anyway, I jumped in to do that. But once I got in, I saw people I knew online and joined their server. And a friend finished a new camp. He's been working in an arcade and bowling alley combo. Very nostalgic. Now that we finally got the bowling lanes to go with the bowling balls, it's a lot of fun. The animation on that is fantastic. Builds so well. So he did a nice setup. I think it's like probably 10 lanes. He went all out. It was perfect for like a disco bowling, like the midnight kind of rock and roll bowling. Do you guys have that where you live?
Yep.
I'm sure we probably do.
It's like, yeah, but I don't go. But they usually put on some rock music or techno, and they turn on the black lights, or a big old light show with mirror balls and stuff like that. Perfect for Graham. And you can get things all set up, and it's a great time. So anyway, did my weeklies that night, did my dailies, got my 76 in. But really, Tuesday night is my only big 76 night. Not a whole lot excitement to report besides the fact that the new items are pretty cool. I don't have them all yet, but I hope to. For those who don't know how to find Graham easily, and I'm sure most of us do at this point, he's relatively random, but it can be relied upon that if you're at most of the Western workshops, that is any workshop, Savage Divide, West, he's going to wander by at some point after a period of time. Same with if you got a camp in the forest area, anywhere along the standard random spawns, he tends to walk through them. He doesn't use the random spawns, but he tends to kind of connect a route that walks through them. There is a classic Graham map on there that I'm sure y'all have seen, his most common locations to go. There are a couple tricks to it too. So I don't know how many people know this, but if you do have a private world, and when a brand new world spawns, Graham almost always starts in the same spot. Okay, so if you're joining your own fresh private world that has not been running, and you load in at Monongahela proper, Graham's going to spawn right in there too. And he's either going to start walking left over towards Bolton Greens, or he's going to start walking right up towards the mines and then up the hill. Okay, so you've got two ways Graham may go. But if you get your character there, you load in, you're going to probably find him. Keep in mind, your private server persists for it used to be 10 solid minutes. Now I feel like it's somewhere between 5 and 10, but I usually wait a solid 10. So if you're on your server, you find him, you hop off, you leave that for at least 10 minutes. Go make yourself a burrito, go make yourself nachos, a snack, maybe tune into, I don't know. What TV are you watching right now? Well, anything?
I don't know. No, nothing.
Watch an episode of whatever you're watching. Will can't
Yeah.
do this, of course. It doesn't apply to him. And then log back in and you'll get Graham again in the same spot and do it all over. So this is an option that you can use, or you can jump on your friends' Fallout First servers and do the same thing. Just know that if it is not a fresh server and you are jumping on one because your server will persist for a little while, then he's going to be somewhere further along his route and you can follow him. But that's just a quick tip on how to find Graham. The way I usually do it is just hang out on any West Side workshop, build for a while, because if you do that and you're building, he's going to pop by. So I did that. But in the update, I will also say a couple of build tricks have been broken. Now, these aren't quite as drastic for most people as when they ruined our poles, as when they stopped allowing us to float walls in any way. But it is still an issue. You can't naturally or fully free float doors right now. And you also can't do that with vines. And there are a number of other objects that are not behaving like they have. So for people out there, you have blueprints that you count on, and there are ways that you do this. Just beware, they might be a little bit different, but I was testing and checking some of this on Thursday night, last night, because it only came to my attention during the day on Thursday. And a few other people are testing. The primary builder for the Wasteland Theater Company, Thor, is talking with some of the people at Bethesda about her experience, and she's putting together a real demo for them while a bunch of us are testing. So hopefully that gets fixed. But those are my two things that I did in 76 this week, Ray.
Very nice.
Yeah. Besides that, I did record a couple of podcasts last week that just came out. The dames and I, all my dames, well, except for Sarah, she couldn't be there, but we had Sarah Saylor and Jen and myself and Shalene and Sherry. We were all on GameStack, Shalene's podcast, and that should come out this week. If it's not out yet, it'll be out any minute now. Well, any day now. I'm not going to watch my watch, but we
I don't
did
think
that.
it is because I was looking for it because one came out after I knew y'all were on, and I was like, oh, it's going to be the one with everyone on there.
By the time you guys listen to this, it should be out next week. So check it out. This is going to be a Dame Stack on the Game Stack feed. And also, your girl did a really fun video game trivia podcast. This is the one Shalene and I were on talking about Fallout last winter. We were on their episode 76, perfect for Fallout. Well, I was just on episode 106, and it was an all RPG trivia game, but I do think this is one of the best video game trivia podcasts out there. So it's called The Leetist. That's Leetist. And look it up if you want. It was a good time. And yes, there was some Fallout and Elder Scrolls related questions on there, which of course made it more fun for me and for most of you listening. But that's my week. That's what I've been doing. That and working.
Darn that working.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Well, what have you been up to?
Oh, me? Well, I've been a lot of Fallout 4. I'm working a lot also. Quickly, I'm going to go back. You were talking about the rock and bowls and stuff. I just wanted to mention the one that we have here. I'm pretty sure they're still playing the exact same commercials they made in like 1983 or whatever it was, because I see them on TV and it's
Made with video
don't-
toaster.
yeah, I don't think they've changed it since. So there's that. And you caught me a little bit off guard with the shows I was watching. I just finished that first part of The Witcher that just
Did
released.
you?
And and so I'm waiting on the second part. So I'm not really doing too many other shows. I've been binging. This is almost embarrassing, but I've been binging really like low-rated apocalyptic movies, like end of the world type movies. And I don't know. So it's almost embarrassing, but it's also very fun.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some really bad ones out there.
There's some bad ones, but if you're in the right mood for it and all that, and you go in with the expectations,
Oh yeah.
you can enjoy those.
Yeah.
Anyways,
they're entertaining.
yeah. So the games I've been playing, again, not too many games other than just Fallout 4. I haven't even really played some 76 much at all either. And I know you guys know this. On one of the episodes a while back, I even mentioned that I was sort of turned into like a newer, like a D&D player. And so doing a lot of D&D. Well, the person that was our DM in that, when we were all sort of brand new, they kind of had to bow out, like they couldn't do it anymore. And I was having such fun playing. I was like, all right, so what happens if I just like maybe try a little one shot so we can all keep playing? And we've turned that into a full campaign and all that. And so I've turned into a DM for our Dungeons and Dragons group, except
Nice.
I'm one of those people that just isn't comfortable unless I way over prep everything. Even though
I was just going to say, I can only imagine how awesome, because you weave such great stories that, I mean, it probably takes a toll on you but everybody else has got to be enjoying the heck out
Well,
of
thank you.
themselves.
I hope so. I don't know. I'm just terrified the entire time when we're doing it because I'm so nervous being new at it. But uh-huh.
You've been going for about 3 months now. So I do have to ask, talking
Yeah.
about preparation and story, how is it as a DM? How are you dealing with the fact that so often you'll prepare so much permutations, variations, and then the party does something completely ridiculous?
It's just, I guess I kind of knew going in. It's like, all right, this is what it is. This is how it's like. And I did. It happened pretty much. I learned that lesson about 10 minutes into our first session as a DM. I had all this stuff prepared because it's our first one. So I really did a whole bunch of stuff. And I had all these scenarios laid out and ready to go and all that, and just didn't happen. I was like, well, all that work went bye. Oh, well. It's just one of the pitfalls, I guess, of it. But you just learn to take it, because every now and then when you have the thing and you kind of predict them a little bit, it's fun. It's rewarding in that way.
Yeah, and your players, and you can always recycle ideas too.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
right, exactly. You can. And I'm learning. I'm actually, because we're all new to this, I'm sort of learning my players, like, at this age, we're all sort of just learning how to play and going through that. But all right, didn't mean to go on that D&D side.
Heck no, that's
track there.
We love
Please.
that. I mean, that was Andrew and I had such a blast doing Skyrim 1080.
Oh, right. Yeah, that I'm sure that must have been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know we ended up sticking with, because I had no idea what I was getting into. Like, I thought it would be fun to do a horror one shot. So I was like, I looked up, best beginner one shots, Google, something like that. And one of them came up that was Death House. And I was like, okay, let's just try this. I didn't know it was part of a bigger campaign, Curse of Strahd, which turns out that's like one of the most beloved 5e campaigns, and so the whole group just decided they wanted to stick with Curse of Strahd. But I had planned, I bought the modules for the Fallout ones, Once Upon a Time in a Wasteland, and those, and I was trying to study up and learn how to do those. And I thought after we did the one shot, if I just wasn't completely terrible at it, we were just going to do the Fallout ones, and that would be fun. But people get into, like, they sort of like the Death Out thing that we had going, and Dave wanted to continue with that one. So that's why we're not doing the Fallout one. But who knows, maybe one day in the future.
Very cool.
Yeah. So in Fallout 4, though, we have these quests going on. So I was just doing most of the Far Harbor stuff. I didn't take proper notes, like I probably should have, because I knew I was coming on this week. But I can talk just a little bit about what I did. I did it a lot like you, Jess, because I was assigned Children of Adam also.
Were you? Okay.
Yeah. It seemed like a lot of us were.
And you kind of created your own armistice or your own justification for not killing everybody?
Absolutely. But I approached it like this. In the first place, I was going to definitely try to do what I could for Children of Adam. But the most important thing to me was that I was there on a job. I was supposed to find Kasumi, bring her back home to her parents. So that was
right.
Number one. That was rule number one. That one sort of superseded everything. And so every time, like, you would go out and do something and discover Dima's secrets or things like that, it was always report back to Kasumi first, and then we would go on from there. And also being assigned, well, one, Curie was my romance, and I had Curie with me, so she was a synth, and I was also assigned Railroad in the Commonwealth. So I definitely did not think it was proper in any kind of way to end up destroying Acadia. So, but I did try to go through, like, I mentioned that it was sort of the fog and the radiation and all this stuff, and the spring, when you drank from the spring, sort of affected my character's head. And he did fall into the Children of Adam. He went and did all their quests. He wasn't going to kill anyone too much. He trying to do that. When he got to the heretic, one of the quests was you have to go find Gwyneth, Sister
Gwyneth. Sister Gwyneth, yeah.
And she's a heretic, and I ended up telling her, it's like, look, it's dangerous here. I tried to see if she maybe wanted to come back. She said it was too far, and I was like, well, you have to just go ahead and disappear and all that stuff. But what she was saying before I told her to disappear, she's like, it's all a lie, and she was talking about the truth of nothingness.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Which my character wasn't going to totally buy the nothingness thing, but it sort of maybe shook him out of his complete zealotry of the Children of Adam, where she was saying the Adam is a lie and all that stuff. So that's why he was able to when push came to shove, he had Tectus replaced by Brother Martin. He sent him on his way. We did the little private meeting, and he's like, "Look, you need to leave. They sent me to kill you," and I wasn't going to kill him. I absolutely was not going to do that. My character
like
wasn't
me,
gonna
you
do
didn't either. Because
no,
did he show up with his guards for you as well, or just him?
no, he didn't.
Okay.
And I do want to say also, I talked to Kasumi first with Dima before we brought up the idea of replacing him.
Yeah.
And all during that time, I never told her she was a synth or wasn't a synth. I sort of let her decide. And in the end, she, I guess, believes that she was still a synth, but I was still able to, like, she was talking and she's like, after we were saying, "Oh, so this place isn't what it seems." And it's like, "Yeah, but it's still, they're doing good things for the synths and other people. It's still worth protecting." And she's like, "Yeah, okay." And then she's like, "What about my parents? I sort of miss them now." And I was like, "They probably do really miss you," and all that stuff. She's like, "Maybe I should go home." And she's like, "I guess they don't need to know I'm a synth." So
Love it. Love it. Okay.
so she goes home and pretends that she's not a synth, even though she may not really be a synth.
and maybe she'll disabuse herself of the notion over time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe over time she'll kind of just make her peace with the fact that maybe I'm not really, maybe that was just a phase. I mean, it's
Right.
not a phase, Mom, but maybe.
Yeah. Because I know everyone looked it up and online, all that stuff, and people have killed, and they said there's no synth component and that she's not a synth. But honestly, like in game, we have no way of knowing without killing her. So I wasn't going to make up assumptions that I couldn't prove with my character. It's like, okay, maybe you are, maybe you're not, but your parents still love you.
Back to Sister Gwyneth, your character's journey. Now, because you're going to go pro raider when you go to Nuke World, right?
Oh, yeah. I hadn't
You're
figured
going
this one out
from
yet.
the railroad to Children of Adam to going raider. Okay, so I like this kind of journey you're on. And so maybe like believing in the nothing with Sister Gwyneth is kind of shaking your belief in anything, everything.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, something I have to put some thought in, but it could be like he wasn't totally buying into it, but he was definitely like, okay, yeah, the atom was definitely a lie, and then maybe that could be it. Like he could go over there to Nuka World. Sister Gwyneth's words could sort of echo around through his head, and then he's like, maybe there is nothing. Maybe it is all just nothing, and that sort of leads him down a dark path there for a little while.
Have either of you actually done the Raider path in Nuka World? Ray, have you, or did you not bother with that?
I'm pretty sure I did it once
Okay.
because I remember being frustrated with having to come back and attack my settlements.
Yeah, I've done it. Yeah.
So I did load a mod that keeps you from having to attack your own settlements.
So actually, I'm trying to remember. So I've definitely done it. I remember having this like sort of all-out war with all of them, where you had to get like all the packs. But then I do also remember maybe like I went back on a save or I did something. I do also remember having to attack the settlements, and maybe I went and did that first and then just sort of went back to a load that I could live with.
Yeah, so that part of it is kind of separate from the three factions in the park.
Mhm.
There's a guy at the marketplace that you work with that ends up sending you out to the Commonwealth to subvert these settlements and bring them under Raider rule.
So it's someone different. Okay. Yeah, so I think then the last time I did it, if I'm remembering, it's been so long. I don't think I picked any side. I think I had to I had to kill all three factions.
Okay, so you ended up freeing the slaves and getting rid of that. So you haven't invaded the Commonwealth. And Ray, you said you did the one time, you think, early on.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd probably remember getting yelled at by Preston if that happened.
I'm pretty sure I just did it for like the trophies and then just went back to a save that Preston wanted to yell at me for.
Oh, actually, you know what's funny is if you did that when you never even met Preston, if you did that on one of your Keep Preston in his hole playthroughs.
Oh, that's this one.
Yeah, because you did.
They're still up in the upper room in the museum. I've never been inside the museum.
That is brilliant. So when you send the Raiders in, well, actually, what is your faction this time? Are you Raiders or no?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you send them into the Commonwealth, they'll be fresh settlements for the plundering. Wow.
Yeah. And there's still so any inland settlements short of Abernathy Farm are still untapped. So Red Rocket, Sanctuary Hills, County Crossing, all those are still, unvisited.
Pristine.
Yes. Ripe for the plunder.
Wow, that's awesome. This is going to be really different for us because I know a lot of us haven't done it. I'm actually excited about it for two reasons. First of all, never done it, even though it's very much not me, but I feel like I have to. I have the operators as my faction, my primary one. But
Oh, I think I do
also,
too. Those are the
those are
vicious ones, right? The extra vicious
no,
ones.
the disciples are like the more
Oh,
vicious, like
that's who I have then.
bloodthirsty
I
ones,
have the ones that are
all
just
about the
straight up
pain.
killers. Yeah.
Operators are a little bit more mafia, kind of for hire, but I never got those achievements. So your girl here, now I know I can't get the achievements on my modded playthrough technically, but maybe I'll go back when we're at that point and I'm actually invading, go back to my only unmodded playthrough, my very first saves,
Yeah. Oh,
and finally do it just so I can get the achievements. We'll see.
yeah. Lee just brought up a good question there in chat, like how will sim settlements affect that too? Right?
Oh, yeah. That's a good
Yeah.
Because you're
point.
using sim settlements, right?
Yeah. But so I've only done sim settlements in a couple of settlements, and they're ones that I own, so I shouldn't go to
You
those.
can just avoid those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I've got, shoot, the one that Andrew and I can never remember the name of, the Sunshine Tidings Co-op. I have that settlement, but it doesn't have a mayor. It's just being run by robots. And so that's one that doesn't have it, but it's also one that I've got, so I shouldn't hit that one either. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I've never tried this mod before, so
Yeah. I'm not even sure how many settlements I might have left after all this Far Harbor stuff with all these so and so is under attack, so and so is under attack, and I'm
Do
just like, good luck, fellas.
you have to go back occasionally? You do because they get pretty unhappy if you leave them to fend on their own too
Oh
much.
yeah, no, I had a few of them that are they took damage and they're upset with me now, but
Every once in a while they do.
can't
Yeah,
beat
every
them.
once in a while I'll get the message they failed.
yeah.
Yeah.
The only one at Kingsport Lighthouse, I had taken that, but I hadn't developed it yet, and so that one got attacked. But I just went there and took out the raiders that were attacking, and then set up a bunch of turrets and never got bothered again. And the only other one was Dalton Farm, and I never even touched the workbench there. I just killed the fog crawler for Cassie Dalton. And then all of a sudden I'm getting this notice that Dalton Farm's being attacked and needs help defending. I'm like, not my settlement, not my problem.
That's funny.
I
Yeah,
already
because
saved it from a fog crawler.
it's like they put it in your name, but you're like, no, just on paper.
Yeah.
That's fair. And so sim settlements wouldn't build up any settlement you hadn't actually taken yet, right?
No, you have
assign a
to
mayor
you
and
have to
such.
build the terminal and assign a mayor and all that kind of stuff.
But it would be possible though that say if you had all those settlements built up through some settlements that you could have to attack them and
Yeah.
then it would
If
be
you're not running the mod that protects your own settlements, then yeah, you very likely would have to go get one.
Maybe that's another reason why settlers shouldn't be named. Although, actually, I wonder how that would even work in my game. So you guys know that I use mods that names all my settlers, also makes them immortal. So can I take a settlement
Oh.
from immortal settlers? I guess you can go and use. It's not like you have to kill them all to take it. I haven't done it. I can't wait to find out. But anyway, sorry, that's a bit of a digression there. I was just curious about that.
okay.
So let's get back to your gameplay, and you finished up with Kasumi and Far Harbor and all that.
Yeah, and I also wanted to mention that I definitely was not cool with Dima killing off Avery and replacing her as a synth. So I did call him out on it. I told him he was a monster, and he just sort of admits it. He's like, "Yes, I suppose I am." But then, so I did not forgive him. I called him a monster, but then I still said I would keep his secret just for the sake of keeping peace on the island altogether. So he made out that way, but I did call him out on it. I didn't just say like, "Don't worry, buddy, I got you." So
People in chat saying they're getting settlements attacked far away that they can't get back to either.
yeah,
Swear I'm Normal has made it to Nuka World. And she's like, no, I'm getting settlements for Harbor attacked while I'm there. Yeah, you're not going to go through 3 load screens across an entire Commonwealth. No.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, well, I don't remember everything, but basically that was it. It all ended mostly very peacefully. I got Kasumi back to her house, to the Nakanos. There was a very, very loving reunion. They all hugged and everything, and they said they're back. And Kasumi's like, I have my family back again. And so, yeah, no, Kenji didn't kick her out. like
Yeah, with
like
Andrew ratting her out.
right, yeah. And And that was it. Except I did go back because I had a little bit of unfinished business on Far Harbor. If you remember, I talked about how many times I went through this one, died like without loading, and I'd saved or went and found Howard Dunbar's body, however many times I don't remember. And then I was like, finally, I gave up on it just so I could finish on that quest. So I had to go do that and a couple little things. So I went back to get his body and fix those fog condensers and stuff, and go back and talk to Avery. And then when I got back to Avery, before it would let me finish that, she started talking to me about Tectus, even though Tectus had already left the whole island. And I had all my quests and everything were cleared, but she was like, Tectus said you were you were the man or whatever. You had a lot of things going on for you and all this stuff. And it's like, I'm good. I'm glad you're able to do what you did. Maybe the island will be peace. But she was talking to it about it as though Tectus was still in charge, even though
he
wasn't.
is.
Right.
So it's synth replacement Tectus talking to synth replacement Avery.
Yeah, I
so
thought the synth is Brother Martin.
No.
Oh, Brother Martin.
You
or
use Brother Martin,
the High Confessor Martin, or whatever. That's just to lure him out. And then, oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah,
You're right.
That's why if you see Dima interviewing, it was the synth's name was Cole.
Yes,
it was Cole from downstairs, and Cole is the one who got the makeover. Yeah, they wiped his mind and made him Tectus.
Yeah. And that's why they had that little sort of a awkward message.
Exactly. And if you talk to him on the way out, it's funny. You can talk to him on the way out. He's like, I must get back. I have the word to spread. But yeah, it's kind of cool. He does not know.
Yes. Okay.
He doesn't know he wasn't always Tectus.
Okay, so that's I just forgot about that. Somehow I thought I replaced him with Martin, but no, I just used Martin to lure him. Okay, so that makes a lot more sense. And then she just gave me a bunch of caps, and it acted like it ended, but like the quests were already done, but she gave me a whole bunch of 1,600 caps as though a quest completed, and it didn't.
Yeah, you get quite a bit of caps because I think you get 1,500 for the first part of the quest where you confront Dima. Then you get 16 from Dima once you replace Tectus, and then 16 from Avery once you complete that one. So
lucrative business over there in Far Harbor. Yeah.
And I was kind of thinking about the children of Adam. So the followers were perfectly content to live peacefully with the Harbormen when Confessor Martin was the leader. So the children of Adam themselves are not anti-Harbormen. They're afraid of them because the Harbormen kill them when they try to go there and proselytize. But it's Tectus that is driving them to hate the Harbormen and to want to destroy them.
And there is some ill will because the Harbormen, a couple of them, they get more and more upset and they blame the children for the fog encroaching on their town. But if the fog were to start receding, they'd probably go back to normal as well. And then there wouldn't be as much malice on either side.
Well, and Avery mentions that the fog will probably recede. She's like, it always does.
Yeah, Longfellow talks about how some people here don't remember, but much of the island was not under the fog for a while, that it comes and goes. It was like, just over the last 20 years, really, that it went from where they are now on the pier for Harbor. That was the Mariners' property that now they all live on. But before that was just the Mariner owned it. All the rest of those houses in town were where some of these people lived. Mm-hmm. So just over the years that changed it. I imagine that it only got this bad in the last year or two. The way they're talking, they're still new. It must have been recent that it got this bad.
Yeah.
And that was it. That's all my gameplay for this week.
Fantastic. How about you, Ray?
I've had a markedly Fallout vacuous few days.
Hey, sometimes things are Fallout free. It happens to all of us.
I tried to play the public test server again, but they've changed it back to normal. So you don't have the level 1, level 20 start anymore. So I couldn't play around with that. And it's just kind of business as usual. And it's like, okay, next. I've spent quite a bit of time. So Monday we recorded an episode of a Skyrim Addict. So I was playing a lot of Skyrim leading up to that. I've been working on my No Man's Sky permadeath character that I killed off, getting their replacement back online.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just been nagging at me I want to see Cyberpunk. I want to see Cyberpunk on the new computer.
Oh, right.
And-
Well, because this is put together now. Like this is good
Oh
to
yeah,
go.
it's up and running. It's going full force.
Beautiful.
And I've never really had any problems running Cyberpunk on my computers, but it's like, oh, holy shit. It is so smooth and
Oh,
so vibrant. And I'm running at high population density. So the streets are just absolutely crowded with people jabbering away and walking in your way. And it's pretty fun. It does create a little bit of a challenge because a lot of times you'll get into a gunfight with some raiders right at curbside, and people are running for their lives and scrambling all over. Occasionally, the innocent pedestrians get hit, and mayhem ensues.
Yeah, there are a lot more pieces on the table that you can knock over when things go wrong.
Yeah, but it's been a lot of fun. So now I'm totally addicted again.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm
yeah.
sorry. I'm just excited because I know how much you love the game. And
Yeah.
when's the DLC coming out? It's going to be a while, right?
Yeah, the 26th of September.
So not that long.
Well, but I won't play it until probably
Right. You'll be in
December.
Starfield. Yeah.
But
yeah, I think
it's definitely, so I had to benchmark it. I wanted to see what I was running. And so
Okay.
with everything maxed out on Ultra and running it as dense as it can run, I was getting my average was 84.7 frames per second.
Nice.
And it peaked at 1283, I think it was.
Wow. Did you like benchmark it on 3D Mark II just to look down on everybody else and see yourself at the top of that peak?
No, I ran it on a internal.
My scores are on there. You
benchmark.
could really laugh at me. Okay. I'm now aware that I am on the podcast with two people who both have newer computers than me. I'm the obsolete one, only 7 months old, and you both have newer computers.
well, mine's the first one I've had in a very, very long time, so I'm all excited. Although I wish maybe I should have held off like 2 more months to do it, just so I could have seen those legendary specs for the Starfield. Because I think I just don't quite hit it. What is it? I am all AMD with the new stuff, but I think they said for the graphics card it was a 7900.
Yeah, the 7900 XT.
Right. So I have the 6900 XT.
Okay.
Which is going to be more than fine, even with that monster monitor you have there. Absolutely.
Yeah. But now that I know I don't have the recommended legendary one, it's like, dang.
Well, and it came out right after I bought all my stuff, and thankfully, so I bought the XTX, which is the one above the one they recommend.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, the other thing with those specs of yours too, if your monitor is 1440 vertical, you're only going to want the middle specs, right? On there, heroic, legendary, epic. You guys are both. You have barn burners. It's amazing.
Yeah,
well, it's a new ground for me, like I said, but yeah.
I needed it to be higher so that I could run my 4K monitor.
Of course. Yep. Because you're doing 4K. And
Yeah.
Will, if he's going to push that whole widescreen, I don't know if Starfield's going to be able to run in that ratio. I mean, because our monitors run at least more than that even, isn't it?
Ours are like 32 by 9 or something.
Yeah.
30,
Yeah, it's
30
ridiculous.
30 something. It's in the 30s. Yeah.
Will got a 49-inch monitor like me, you guys. It's awesome. 5120 by 1440. So yeah,
You're
we're
gonna
living
run
it.
around.
But I don't think I'm actually going to run Starfield that way. I'll just make it a standard 1440 window.
No, you got to try.
I'm going to look at it if I can. Just
If it'll do it, you probably got to
If I
try.
can wrap it around me like this with this thing, it's going to be epic. It's so fun. At least for 5 minutes.
Sorry, Ray. Didn't mean to
No, that's
divert.
fine.
You're having so much fun with Cyberpunk and only mildly jealous.
Yeah, so it's fun to be back in. It really is a good game. So I'll have to load Redfall again and play around with that, see how that does.
It could bake a little longer. I mean, don't feel any pressure to go back to Redfall. As much as I may be its staunchest defender.
It was just fun. I mean, it was fun.
Okay, well, cool.
I enjoyed it.
I
didn't play it for long.
I was going to say, did you play it all the way through to the end? Because
No, I didn't even play it to the end of the first act.
Okay, because that was sort of one of the biggest complaints I heard about it is that it's all right for a while, but that it was since it was so sort of barren that it was hard to like just sort of like really finish.
Believe it or not, Will, they add more as you go on. As you level up, things get more complex or more systems.
Yeah.
When you get to the second map, it's actually a lot more intricate than the first one.
Yeah. And also, I think we're probably more inclined to be able to play this game. Like we all loved 76 when it came out, right? And that was a common thing that I heard was like comparing Redfall to 76 and just that to them, whoever was reviewing it, that it seemed a little bit lifeless with a lot of people, but if you're
Which was
into
a
like the
selling
environment,
point.
right, yeah.
I mean, Ray, talk about how many NPCs you have in Cyberpunk now, but you don't mind playing in a semi-empty world sometimes.
That's true. They do tend to get in the way.
Yeah.
You do.
So I hadn't tried it yet. I downloaded it and installed it or whatever on the Xbox, but I haven't gotten around to it. I will though.
Yeah. At least the NPCs in Cyberpunk don't walk in front of you while you're shooting. Whenever you take a gun out, everybody runs.
There you go. That's good.
And that's pretty much a wrap up on mine. I've downloaded a game that I'm not ready to talk about yet.
Okay.
I haven't made it out of the tutorial.
Okay.
But we'll see what happens. It's a game I never expected to play.
Tune in next week, you guys, to hear Ray's explanation of his time in Stardew Valley. We're all looking forward.
Yeah, that one I definitely didn't expect to load.
Beautiful. No, that'll be awesome. Well, we do have some feedback from Andrew, too. Now, Andrew's not with us, but you want to just tell them Andrew's notes, Ray? Do you think that would be fun? So, line one, Andrew's notes for the show tonight, if he could have made it in. Fucking Nuka Cranberry. And if any of you have been in texting about the game or talking to Andrew about the game this week, fucking Nuka Cranberry. No, he's just mad. He's just mad. It's a pain in the ass. Don't give us Nuka Cranberry. Oh, because of the fact that he also mentioned last week, this isn't in his notes, but I'm just going to tell you right now. You guys remember last week he mentioned how there hadn't been a dog food challenge forever? The next day, there's a dog food challenge for the first time in a couple months in Fallout 76.
He brought that into existence.
He did. He didn't will it into existence, but he definitely spoke into existence. And I believe I saw a little bit of cursing of the name in the Discord. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Suliore says, I gave him so much crap for that. Exactly. Also, re-rollers with epic weeklies. His re-rollers apparently were good. He got some good epic weeklies. However, once again, F the mutated enemies and events. I'm only going to drop one or two of those per episode. I hit my quota. But yeah, fantastic, Andrew. Thank you for the feedback. We appreciate it.
It is fun when you do those re-rollers and you get an epic one that they sort of randomly pop in. It's weird that they don't have any epic ones unless you re-roll, right?
Yeah, you'll never get a natural epic. You have to use the re-roller to have a chance of getting one.
That's funny. Yeah.
It would
almost
be
like encourages you to re-roll. It's like, yeah.
It would be fair if they gave us everyone the option. Like then if everyone got like one guaranteed epic, that would work out. That would balance out. But people are getting the scoreboard done pretty well. It's going fast for most people. I'm still at what? After probably, because I only did a couple weeklies this week. I'm probably at 64, 65 maybe. I don't know. Ray is still on. Are you still in the starting square?
Yeah. I have 0 score.
It's like when you play Parcheesi or whatever, and you just have like the pawns there at home.
Retirement is nice, yeah.
You're not score tired too, are you?
So, well, you know what happened? You know when people retire, because I was score tired there for a little while. But like sometimes you start to itch. You want to get a little bit busy, maybe like do something for your free time. A lot of time, like someone will go out and get a part-time job. I kind of refer to this as like I'm like a score greeter. Like those people that are in Walmart that like they're retired but they stand and meet people like in the as they come in Walmart, like the store greeters. So I'm like a score greeter. Like I'll just go, just something to do, kill a little bit of time here or there, and casually do it to take up some time. So I'm only like rank 18 or something like that. But
that's perfect. No pressure. Be where you want to be. And if you get the whole FOMO thing at the end, you can buy a couple levels.
I actually got to last scoreboard. I got to 87 And I had a couple of weeks left before I was going to finish, and I thought I was going to actually get close or maybe even do it because I got on with art club the way we usually do on Friday nights when we were playing 76, and that's when I do a lot of it. It's like it's hang out with them, and then we'll kind of do some of the dailies and weeklies or whatever together. But I got on with them a couple of times, and I just still, I don't know, I didn't feel the drive to do any of the weeklies or challenges. I just got talked up with them and just did silly things and didn't bother with it. So I didn't finish, but I just ended up at that 87.
I mean, how cool is that
is.
you didn't feel the pressure, that we're actually at this point now where it just rolled off your back. You're like, oh gosh, I'm almost there. I can make it. And then you just don't.
Yeah.
And it's fine.
And at 87, like clearly, if I'm at 18, I'm not going to buy out the rest of the board. But at 87 for that one, I was like, okay, well, and plus you get the 500 atoms at the end. So I just bought the rest in.
Oh, perfect. So you do still have the poster. That's good.
Yes.
A quick community check-in on the scoreboard because we're getting some people dropping some values in chat.
Oh, wow.
Clint is at 94. Clint is almost done. He's 94.
Yes.
Expect a big scorecation for him probably in a week or two. No pressure, Clint. Suliore is at 92 today. Fantastic. So you actually made some real headway the last week then. That's amazing. I do have to do a take backsies too. About 3 weeks ago, I announced that Alex was on scorecation along with Eric, and he did get the most shout out. Well, shame on me, because Alex only hit scorecation for real a couple days ago. So happy scorecation, Alex. And yeah, in the notes, Andrew put take back drop? Alex's premature shout. So no, I don't have the drop. We'll have to add it in post.
Because I see Green Dragon's post there.
Or perhaps, Will, you want to give me your best scorecation?
Scorecation!
Beautiful. Fantastic.
Also, that's pretty impressive that Lee's at 6 only doing possum badges.
Wow, Lee. I mean, possum badges are hard work. And Sullivan has doubled his rank, literally doubled from 1 to rank 2. So good job, Sullivan. Big effort. Okay, you guys, speaking about community feedback and all that, how about we get into some of this week's feedback? Does that sound good?
That's what I've been waiting for.
Yep. Love it.
Okay, y'all. Well, we're going to start off with some feedback from Clint. Hi, Clint.
G'day, Clint again. Well, Peterson now had all the secrets, and the job was to get Kasumi safely back to the mainland. After all, this was the reason for coming to Far Harbour in the first place. Also, Peterson was always going to be on the side of the harbour men. The first thing she did was go and see Captain Avery, the synth, and let her know the truth. Once the captain was convinced, she begged Peterson to keep her situation secret. There was a temptation, in the guise of a location marker, to approach Alan and with the news, but Peterson decided that might lead to trouble. In fact, if you do this, it will definitely lead to the destruction of Arcadia, no matter how much goodwill you've built in the community. However, Peterson then travelled up to Arcadia and confronted Demo with his memory of killing Avery. She convinced him to go and face the music in Harbour Town. Peterson never had trouble convincing people to do the red option. High charisma has made several difficult situations a lot easier in this playthrough. Back down to town, and Demo made his confession and was immediately taken out by Mitch, on Avery's orders. Swift justice. An incensed Alan then wanted to go to Arcadia and kill all the synths there, and a heavy discussion ensued amongst the townspeople. Peterson implored Alan to stand down, and several people backed her up that she'd help them out, where Alan never had, except his sister Sandra. She was the only voice for Alan. But democracy ruled, and Alan backed down. Good thing too, as if Arcadia failed, their upkeep of the fog condensers would also fail, and the fog would take over the island. Up to Arcadia again, and this time, finally, Peterson was able to convince Kasumi to return home. There was one more problem to fix to keep the Far Harbour people safe, and that was deal with the children of Adam. Peterson had no time for them, and it was time for them to go. So she travelled to the nucleus and surprised Tectus by operating the nuclear launch system. She then had 30 seconds to get out. Word of warning, don't jump and miss the walkway and fall to the bottom of the submarine. It's too far down to even jetpack out, and the many stairs will take more than 30 seconds to climb. This I have learned. However, Peterson managed to get out with a few seconds to spare, and the nucleus and remaining children of Adam were no more. That'll teach them to make her drink that awful waterfall water. And anyhow, wasn't this their preferred method of ascending to the next plane of existence, to be divided by atom? Peterson was happy to oblige. Returning to Harbour Town, Alan was very happy, but Avery was less enthusiastic and told Peterson to just leave. Okay. Only thing left to do was return to the Commonwealth, but there was a weird glitch to overcome. You might remember me mentioning on the show a couple of weeks back that when Peterson went with the Mariner to deal with Red Death, she arrived without a boat. It apparently had sunk or something, and this meant a little console cheat was needed to get back to Far Harbour. Well, when Peterson went back to the dock to leave the island, no boat. Damn. So I did a little more console work. The command is COC Kasumi boat location. Peterson, Curie, and the dock were immediately transported to the boat. It hadn't sunk, but was sitting a little way out to sea south of the dock. Everything appeared to be in working order as the engine could be heard running, but no marker to click, nothing to make it go. Another dead end. So the next console command was COC DLC03 Nakano Residence EXT. And lo and behold, they were all there on the dock outside the Nakano residence. Kasumi's boat was parked nearby, and they all went into the house together for the big reunion. So Kenji and Ray got their daughter back, alive and well, and not a synth, but sadly they lost their boat. Thanks for listening, and it sounds like it might be time to confront the Machinist when next we meet in the wasteland.
Thank God for console
Yeah.
commands.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love that solution. I love that he was able to do it. I love that the boat still existed out there somewhere. I mean, maybe it's marooned, but that was super cool. Well, thank you, Clint. Appreciate that. So he mentioned the nuke launch codes. The path he took was interesting. He'd done enough for the Harbormen that when they did get the thing for the judgment about Dima and storming Acadia, he apparently got enough Harbormen in his favor. Now, Peterson did do the captain's dance, right? I think he did. Yep, he did them all, he said. So that's perfect. It makes sense. But that is a good way to kind of spare Acadia, but have Dima answer for what he did. And then blowing up the nucleus. That's fantastic hearing about that. I was worried about that. If I ever do blow this up, am I going to make it out? So funny to hear that you didn't.
Yeah. Question. If you so I never told a single person that I had nuclear launch keys, even though I went and found them. Is there a way to still, if you tell someone, can you still end up with all three factions being peaceful at the end? Or is one of them going to want to use that?
If you tell who? Oh, that you got the nuke codes?
Yeah.
I don't know. I imagine that if you replaced Tectus, yeah, you could still keep them peaceful.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, because I got them. I was just wondering, but they're always, some of the options were tell Tectus that you have the nuke codes or tell Dima that you have the nuclear launch codes, and so I just kept it a secret.
Now that I think about it,
myself.
I think you fail that as the option. I think that you fail that option when you turn in and do the peaceful thing. So, because it would be cleansing the land as a quest.
Oh, okay. So you just failed cleansing the land.
Yeah, because you've got turning in Dima or not and helping Acadia, and cleansing the land for either the Harbormen or the children. And so if you skip both of those, go to Reformation, replace Textus, I'm pretty sure that ultimately goes away. Cleansing the land completes.
Okay. But yeah, I was just wondering if telling one of them that you had the nuclear launch codes would have forced you down one of the, a cleansing the land path.
I would imagine it might, unless you can tell them and then not give it to them.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, wouldn't serve much purpose, but I am curious if someone else has done that. Might be something worth looking into.
Just to see what kind of response they give, it might be like, oh, do you have that? And I say, yeah, but I ain't giving it to you,
Well, y'all, any other thoughts on Clint's feedback?
Yeah, let's hear Katherine.
And we're going to hop into Katherine. And just as an aside, Katherine will be joining us next week on the feed for the first time. So looking forward to talking to you in person, Katherine. And now let's hear your feedback.
Hi, Fallout Feed. It's Katherine here. Just getting caught up with feedback a little bit. I spent some time away from the game just to focus on some overtime at work and some other things, but I am back and ready to get going again. So I think where I started out after my little break was I finished Dima's Nightmare to get access to his memories. Dima's Nightmare was not terrible, but also not an enjoyable experience. So I think that's all I'm going to say about it. Immediately after that, I went straight to the Vim Pop Factory. And I didn't really find the super mutants that awful. I feel like the last time I did a playthrough, they were worse, but I also like sneak targeted the missile launcher dudes first. And once they were out of the way, I felt a lot more comfortable traversing like the roof of the Vim Pop Factory. So after that, I went down to the basement and discovered the murder of Captain Avery, took some cute photos as I posted in the Facebook group. And I thought it was kind of interesting that Nick makes a comment specifically about the synth prototype criteria for the robot to unlock that medical facility door. And I wonder if that was because Nick said that he was hoping no one else would meet that criteria of synth prototype, or if actually, like deep down, the criteria was chosen purposefully to let Nick in should he find Dima again. I don't know, just something that I was thinking about when it happened. But after discovering the murder, I took the news straight to Dima. I questioned him about his choices, and then somehow I passed the persuasion check for him to just go to Far Harbor and be judged in front of Far Harbor. They did their thing and killed him and Brooks as I watched, but I didn't involve myself because I felt like Everdeen like wouldn't involve herself in the decision-making process, but would still like want him brought to justice. And then I got mad at myself because I forgot to buy some of the like legendary items that I wanted off of Brooks, but oh well, it's fine. I don't remember even what he had, but I remember that I was saving up caps so that I could buy something off of him. But it's fine. Also, I didn't participate in the affair. Like I said, I don't think Everdeen would be the type to involve herself, but I also just like went inside and watched as Far Harbor just like killed all of Acadia. So Kasumi died. Oops. I forgot to talk to her before. I was originally like going to intend to save her, but she died. It's fine. The next thing I think I did was I thought maybe I would shut down the wind farm maintenance and kill Far Harbor, but I was only level 32 still, and I wanted to kind of buff up my level and finish some of the Far Harbor quests because I was going to send everyone to their deaths. So I think I finished the Dalton quest line with the trappers at the lighthouse. That wasn't bad. I just kind of like sneak took them out one by one. And then I also completed the captain's dance. I had some issues with the captain's dance because the legendary Mirelurk that pops out like in the second round of throwing meat in the water would like never pop out and actively chase me like the other ones would, but he would just kind of sit in the water. So then I would shoot at him, and then I would like panic shoot at him because he was coming at me. And Dogmeat, of course, would go after him, but I am using that explosive pistol. So then I would be like panic shooting this Mirelurk. Dogmeat's right next to him. I guess he gets sprayed with the explosive stuff. He gets himself hurt. And then as soon as I'm able to like run and stim pack the dog, the Mirelurk queen shows up literally right next to where he's at and then just one hits me. That happened twice. So yes, I could have avoided this whole situation by telling Dogmeat to stay put somewhere, but what's the fun in that? So I finally did conquer the captain's dance. I was really hoping that the captain's hat would be more of an endurance buff, but the intelligence isn't bad. I'm thinking I'm going to use it later on after I build up my endurance some more because I'm still like running around with the sea captain's hat, which is 2 endurance. I think I also finally took Aqua Girl because I'm so dang tired of being irradiated from swimming. That's just been a constant battle, was being irradiated all the time just from being in the water, being in the fog, being all over the place. I should have just taken that a long time ago, but it's fine. Maybe it'll be helpful like in Nuka World or back in the Commonwealth. So anyway, then I went to the Nucleus and I did some questing there. So I think I gave the pump regulator for the decon arches that I found in the Vim factory, but I thought this was kind of weird. At the time when I pull up the level up menu, it tells me that I have intelligence 7. And in order to fix the arches, like fix them as in their decon arches and not radiation arches, you needed 7 or more intelligence. So I was like, oh, I have that. I'm gonna fix them so that they can heal me of all these fucking rads I'm taking. Well, I guess if there's any sort of like an intelligence buff, and then you open up the level menu to look at your stats, which, yes, I know I probably could have just looked at the stat menu on the Pip-Boy and then I would have figured this out, but for some reason I forgot that existed and looked at the level up menu for that. So I don't know, but it wouldn't let me fix it even though it said that I had that intelligence. So I don't know if I was just running an intelligence buff and I didn't actually have 7 intelligence or what happened, but I ended up just not even fixing them. So they still just spray rads. It's fine. I also finished the heretic, but when I found her, she was not taking any of my like persuasion. She was like, I'm not taking your shit. And so for Adam's glory, I just shot her in the head to finish that up. After most of the
Wow.
questing was done within the nucleus, I decided to watch as I shut down the wind farm maintenance and turned off the fog condensers to Far Harbor. Like Andrew said, after he did it, it was very gruesome, like really gruesome. I didn't expect it to be that gruesome. There were just like bodies and limbs all over the place. But so I killed Far Harbor. So I guess all that's left is the nucleus. And I think that's where I left it as of last night. So tonight I'm planning on wrapping up some of the leftover locations in Far Harbor and then finishing up the nucleus stuff, as well as going back to the Commonwealth and telling Kenji that his daughter is dead. I didn't kill her, but his daughter is dead. It's fine. I figured for the Children of Adam character that kind of developed this way, it was more like Everdeen to kind of let Kasumi die because the center of her story has evolved from saving Kasumi and heading to Far Harbor to find this girl to discovering Adam and worshiping Adam in this way. I also really liked the Destroyer of Acadia perk that gives you more damage output when you're like extremely low on health. It has come in clutch quite a few times. But I think that's all I have so far, just trying to get caught up. I think I'm very close to getting caught up and finishing up Far Harbor and moving on to Automatron. But happy wastelanding, friends. See you in 2 weeks.
Nice.
Fantastic. So thank you so much for that feedback, Katherine. First I'm going to comment on is Aqua Girl. So yeah, it's been recommended from the beginning. You took it right away. I mean, you live in the water. You're a water baby, Ray.
For sure.
And Andrew likes it and others. Katherine just finally gave in. And yeah, Far Harbor is what got me to, I think, give in on the edge too. Because I don't remember if I took one just before Far Harbor or once I got there. But there's a lot of water. There's a lot of traveling.
I was assigned to Aqua Girl, but man, I don't know why. I hardly ever use it. Like I just don't think to swim, so it's not natural for me.
Mhm.
But I did take it right away.
Yeah. I don't typically do it, but in this playthrough, I've been doing nothing but swimming.
Yeah. Which
I swim everywhere.
Which, speaking of, because it's survival, level 32, going through all of Far Harbor and at level 32 sounds like impressive, kind of almost. Because some of the things, the encounters are pretty difficult. I'm at 70 or something like that, and some of them were tough. So good job on her going through at 32.
Yeah, I came out of Far Harbor at level 41.
That's good. You got a lot of levels while there then. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the leveling up faster in survival is so nice.
It's fun.
I think I've hit 60. Still haven't done Captain's Dance. That's something else I want to mention. She mentioned the Captain's Dance had a few issues. We'll dig into that when we have her on. I'm curious what happened there. I haven't done the Captain's Dance this time. Do you get overwhelmed with enemies, or are there waves where they might not spawn?
Yeah, I think there's 3 waves, 2 different waves of varying Mirelurks, and then the Mirelurk Queen with her spawn and some assorted Mirelurks.
Kind of like a 76 event. That's interesting because there weren't many things in the game outside of a few quests that could be considered like events. I mean, maybe Bunker Hill had the built-in waves, but Captain's Dance was very much like a classic 76 event with dealing with the gulpers or whatever with some like moonshine.
Yeah. I haven't done it yet either.
You've done the Moonshine Jamboree plenty though, right? Well,
yeah. I'm not a fan of it, honestly, but I have done
really?
it.
Oh my gosh, I love the Moonshine Jamboree.
Yeah, that's really about the only one I like.
I stand up on the outhouse and I defend my still, and I'm like, you guys take care of your stills. I even turn on the music for it just so I can get down.
It's not, and especially if the mutations are certain ones, it's not one of the best events for a bloodied character.
That's true. There's a reason why I stand on my outhouse as much as I can. No doubt. But it is great for XP, for sure. Almost as much as Rad Rumble.
Yeah. and spending 2,000 rounds of ammunition.
Other things you mentioned there with the Vim Pop factory and the mutants, that is well put. It's funny because in survival, some things are so much tougher. Like everything is more dangerous. And certainly that goes for the mutants too. But we are commensurately, we've gotten more stealthy, like she's talking about. Also, the way that we approach things is different. Like I, just like her, came from the water side and then up to the roof. I think she came from the water side, but she went to the roof first. And if you deal with that guy with the missile, the one with the missile launcher on the roof, he is the most dangerous. I did die to him once, but once I took him out, it wasn't that bad. So I just feel like we do change the way that we approach things, and they weren't as bad as I anticipated them to be either. Now, the ones at the hotel, they were a little bit deadly. I feel like you're a little bit too exposed on the hotel. That took a bit more work, but we made it through. But that's awesome. How about the Vim Pop for you guys? Did you guys find that too tough, or?
It went all right for me. I did forget. I mean, I guess when I was playing, I think I got a little bit lost in there or whatever, or I got sidetracked because as y'all were talking last week, there's sort of a lot of things to do in there if you're doing as far as you can with all the factions. So without focusing on one specifically. And so I think I went and I had found what I was supposed to get in there. Like it was Avery, or it was one of the tapes.
You had to get the pump for Sister Mai.
So we got that. Maybe I had gotten that, and then there was like right somewhere else. They had another quest marker was there, and so doing all that somehow. I got turned around and I never ended up finding Grun. Is that his name? Grun?
Yeah, Grun.
Yeah, so I never ended up finding Grun because I think I accidentally went off to a different part to find a different thing. But yeah.
It was great to revisit the story of Vim's Captain blend too. Like we joke about all the time.
Oh,
like
yes.
People love to joke about the fish in there. But I don't know, Ray, did you end up reading the terminal on the Vim's Captain's blend when you were there?
Not this time, no.
I had not remembered there were lobster shells and seaweed in there too. Like their mandate was give us a soda with the taste of Maine. He's like, what the heck do they mean? Taste of Maine. He just like went to the fish market. So he's got lobster, he's got seaweed, he's got some fish, he's got a few other things. Probably taste of Maine. Probably got some blueberries too. And put it all together. And then he's like, it's not awful. So people started liking it. And I think not awful is a great way to describe the taste of Moxie, the soda that Vim is based on. Yeah. Now, take it from me.
Or Demon's Blue Nightmare.
Yes.
Not awful.
Yes. In this case, too.
For her, that was for her. That's what Katherine said, right?
She's like, yeah, so not bad, but we won't dwell on it. Any other comments on Katherine's feedback?
No. Well, she talked about the Destroyer of Acadia perk. I heard y'all talk about that. I guess you have to destroy Acadia to do it. That sounds like something I would really, really want because my character, like I was assigned Nerd Rage and I have it at rank 3 or whatever the highest rank that is. And I always love it when it pops in, everything slows down a little bit and it kicks in that Nerd Rage and it's nice and slow. And it's like this little mental cue that, oh yeah, you got to be careful. But then you get all that extra damage protection and whatnot. And it sort of goes in sync with, I think 2 pieces of Sentinel armor and then 2 pieces of bolstering armor that I'm wearing. So that perk would have gone lovely with that. Although that chest piece we get from the Acadia shield, that was that one is actually really nice too. So
that's a really sweet chest piece. Yeah, don't go dropping all your money on a Devastator's chest piece before you get that though. That's 15,000 freaking caps.
I heard you did that. Yeah,
in survival.
Yeah, that Acadia shield was a really awesome one. She talked about the pump regulator a little bit. That was something being in Children of Atom 2 that I anguished over. I think I actually fell asleep for a while trying to decide whether I should rig it so that it's actually a decontamination arch or like sprays of radiation like Sister Mai, I think, asked us to do. And eventually I was like, no, what? All right, I'm Children of Atom. These people need their rads. They want their rads. So I fixed it so that they got radiated instead of doing the
beautiful.
Even though I was just like her, I was thinking, I sure would like this decontamination arch right here.
It would be wicked helpful. Yeah. I mean, but they would know. Like, they would know. The thing about the Children of Atom is that the majority of them are born with Adam's blessing, or at least have gained Adam's blessing, as is mentioned on a quest or two. Like, there are only a couple of them who aren't, whatever you want to call it, ghoulish or unaffected by rads.
Yeah. And I looked it up, actually, because I wanted to know, because I didn't want to get in trouble with Sister Mai too much. Like, what are the consequences? I was trying to play it like I really Children of Atom, even though I told you I made everyone safe. And so apparently, if you do do actually fix it and you talk to her again, she thanks you for it still, and just comments that for those that need the scouring that they do, at least now they don't have to go through the scouring process. So you're still helping the children of Adam in a way. Like some of them, because like you said, not all of them are just sort of immune to the radiation.
That's fair. Yeah, and if they need any more radiation, they can just roll around on the bottom for a little bit.
Yeah, not too hard to find.
Yeah, go hug a bear at your spring or something. Totally. Did you have anything else on that feedback, Ray?
No, it was awesome.
Now let's jump into Swear I'm Normal then. I swear.
Hey everyone, Swear I'm Normal here, back to continue with the adventures of Nuke. So I told Alan that Dima had been conspiring against the people of Far Harbor and gave him the locket and skull from Avery's grave to prove it. Showing a modicum of common sense, he admitted that while the locket was Avery's, the skull could have been from anyone. He told me to get it checked over by Teddy, the town doctor, to see if he could definitively determine it was Avery's skull. While the locket itself was suspicious, the truth about the skull was damning. Teddy begged me not to tell Alan about the skull, but I had made up my mind. Dima had to die, and the rest of the synths with him. He had said that nobody else knew about his plots, but I knew he was the type to take the blame to save those under him. His word could not be trusted, and therefore Acadia would burn. Avery, on the other hand, I knew she didn't have anything to do with this. Even if the tape from the grave hadn't spelled it out loud and clear, the absolute devastation on her face when I revealed her truth was convincing. While the synth she had been before the memory wipe had been complicit, the person she was after was innocent. I could accept that. Alan couldn't, but with most of the harbormen, barring the mariner on my side, he backed down. The harbormen and I stormed Acadia and wiped the place out. While I made a sweep back through the levels looking for any survivors, I found Kasumi Nakano, or what was left of her at least. It looked as if she had been caught in an explosion. I had hoped to bring her back to Kenji and Rei Nakano safely, to at least give them their daughter back, but I couldn't now. The wasteland took and took and took. It had taken Mary Abernathy, my son, now Kasumi, and countless others. It preyed on the weak and broke the strong. I carried on and talked to Alan at the entrance of what had been Acadia. He awarded me Lucky Eddie, which, okay, thanks, but I'll stick to Old Reliable and Overseer's Guardian. One threat down, one to go. I ran to the nucleus to speak to High Confessor Tectus and convinced him that the best way to show his devotion and love to Adam was to use the nuclear launch key to bring about division, and that it was Adam's will, for how else would they have come to an island covered in his domain and find a sub full of nuclear warheads if not for Adam? Tectus agreed and gave his approval for the key to be inserted. Once done, I got the hell out of Dodge and watched in satisfaction as the base exploded and crumbled in upon itself. At last, the people of Far Harbor were safe. The island would still try to take them out one by one, but I knew they could handle the wildlife. And if they couldn't, well, survival of the fittest. I returned to the harbor, and on my way to the Nakano's boat, Alan stopped me to congratulate me on destroying the children of Adam. Told me I was welcome to come back any time. I may have to take him up on that. After all, there was something about this fog that drew me in. I sped away from the island and back towards the mainland. I had to inform Kenji and Rei of what fate had befallen their daughter. They took it about as well as I had expected, which was to say very poorly. They demanded to know if their daughter was actually human. I confirmed it. It didn't matter if she was or not at this point. I'd give them what peace I could, as one father to another. So I decided to try something different this time, do more of a story narration, get inside his head, so you can hopefully see more of his descent into madness at this point. I'll see everyone in the wasteland.
That was awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, so that was very much from Nuke's perspective. I felt that as she was talking through, like we got the idea of who Nuke was before. Nuke seems a bit more practical and a bit more to the point than some of the characters, but actually getting in his head like that, hearing how his thought process working with the Harborman and stuff, the locket and the skull, that was interesting. Not having gone that route, I knew you could expose them, but I did not remember the skull thing. Now, if you expose that Avery's been killed, they obviously don't just attack Acadia. Like they kill Captain Avery, right? Like the synth one that's there.
Yeah, I was trying to think about that. I don't remember what they do with that.
I think if they start rampaging, I think Brooks dies. Swear says they try, but you can talk them down. So good. So you can talk them down. That's good that it's not just a rampage. And I mean, obviously, there's the whole who have you impressed on the Harpoon side, they'll listen to you or not. But I like the fact that you found a balance there. Brooks did die for her too. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, they wouldn't have stood a chance with me because the only one I had helped was Cassie Dalton.
I liked her, like you said, her getting inside Nuke's head and stuff. As she was talking about, like, yeah, the wasteland just keeps taking everyone from her Kasumi or her daughter and things like that. So I thought it was a really good. She mentioned that when Alan gave her that lucky Eddie, she's like, yeah, thanks, whatever. Stick with I forgot the other one she said, but the Overseer's Guardian. That's been mine that I keep using too, to Overseer's Guardian. I know I need to venture away. I have all 5 of my points in Heavy Gunner, like I'm supposed to.
So, are you spec'd into both?
No, I'm only spec'd into Heavy Gunner, which I have not used yet. So I'm not doing myself any favors. But I was assigned Heavy Gunner. I just haven't used one.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get to
that's
it.
such a brutal one in survival because you just don't have the carry weight to carry a big gun.
Oh, I know it's hard, but I'd mentioned it. I'm gonna try it. I don't know how it's gonna work. There's a heavy incinerator that's a creation club content thing. Like you do a quest, you get it from the Saugus Iron Works over there, and that's the one I'm about to try. Just like you said, it's so heavy I can't carry it on me and all that. But when I go back over there to the Commonwealth and get back to one of my little settlements that I have it sanctuary where I have it stashed, I'm going to pick it up and take it to Nuka World with me as I go insane with the disciples. And
So that's interesting that's both of your standpoint, that your characters are losing their mind a little bit to kind of change this much.
yeah, well, we got to sort of, I don't know how she plays, but maybe it's like plays like nice guyness, good guyness. Hard to sort of role play that sometimes. And
Mhm.
I went into it gung ho. It's like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna be evil in Nuka World, or like I'll go hang out with those crazies over there, in Far Harbor. But it's sort of hard to role play. You gotta for myself, figure out what justifies it the best. And it's just like, yeah, like he's sort of losing his mind. Things are affecting him. So I can.
Yeah, in chat,
Yeah.
a little bit of feedback. Exactly. I can never manage to be the bad guy. It's going to be hard, but she's going to do it. I mean, that's fun. I'm going to invade the Commonwealth for the first time, despite Minutemen being my faction. She's going to do it too. You're going to do it well. We're all going to do it. I mean, path of destruction. That random character generator was awful,
yeah.
but I guess that makes sense, right? Because if you've only got 4 options and Steve weighted them equally, I mean,
Yeah.
only 25% of people at most are going to get sticking with the settlers and defending them. So, ouch, pushing us over the edge. Well,
Yeah,
that was.
I can only imagine how having to go through all this stuff that we go through would start to chip away at any decency you thought you had, because it does. It becomes having to survive.
There's a reason why people turn raider and those stories happen.
Yeah.
And we always say that wouldn't happen to me. Well, most of us say that, but yeah, but then it could. It could.
Yeah, and like back to D&D real quick. Sorry, this is my new big thing. This like
Love it.
what I think about like most of the time now is like that's one of the things I'm doing as a DM, running a sanity and madness skills on the characters, so that as when they experience extra traumatic things or whatever, I'm having to do a little constitution saving roll and see if it's going to sort of affect their overall madness as they go. And so it's the same thing that we're playing into this game. Yeah.
That's such a classic thing. If you delve further into tabletop role plays with that, there are some systems that incorporate that as a primary mechanic. There's a fantastic game that I used to play as a kid called Paranoia. And Paranoia, the tagline for it is trust no one, keep your laser handy.
Yeah.
And it's basically about where you are a group of clones in a world with an all-seeing intelligence, and you have to keep the computer happy with everything you say and do, and everyone's ready to backstab each other to move up the chain and get more points and stuff like that. It's fantastic. There's another one too. There was a system based on the works of Cthulhu that had a sanity meter as a major mechanic. I mean, a lot of games do that, so it's cool you're bringing it into yours. Okay, well, let's jump in to our next feedback from Mr. Sullivan. Hey, Sully.
Hello, Fallout Feed. Sully here with an update on Stuart's progress. Her and Piper have been having some more adventures across the wasteland. They end up coming past this little pond where there was a super mutant behemoth named Swan that came out. And of course, Piper went and got his attention and started shooting at him. So the fight was on. Stuart hung back under some cover, and with her 308 sniper and some frag grenades, slowly whittled away and took Swan out. So she celebrated that victory, and her and Piper headed back to Diamond City to restock. Well, during their travels, they had some deep conversation, and their relationship, they grew a little closer. So now They are making a go of it, and they are a couple. Since Stewart cares more for Piper now, she decides to send her to Starlight Drive-In to keep her safer, and picks up Codsworth and decides to have him help her on the next few things she needs to do. Her and Codsworth head to rescue the synth detective Nick Valentine so she can work on trying to figure out what happened to Sean. They go through that and are able to get Nick and head back to Diamond City, start investigating about Kellogg and where he might have went with Sean. And in the midst of that, they get a call from Nick's assistant Ellie about an urgent matter. So they head back to Diamond City, find out there's a family with a missing daughter, and they are headed that way now to go talk with them, and presumably headed up north to Far Harbor. That's about all I've been able to do. Time's been a little tight. Haven't had as much time to be in it, but plan on trying to make up for lost time and should be well into Far Harbor within the next couple of days. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the wasteland.
Thank you so much, Sullivan. And that can be very hard. Finding a balance of time to play to begin with. And then when you do have time to play, like you noted in chat that you played 76 on Sunday. So yeah, like sometimes you need a night off. Sometimes you want to play another game. I mean, heaven forbid, but at least it was Fallout, so you're fine. But I have that all the time. If I want to do my 76 that week, I'm going to fall behind on my Fallout 4. If I want to play a Mass Effect game or one of these other games I get into, and man, is Ray tempting with Cyberpunk, you guys, by the way, aside. Like, until Starfield comes out and I'm not streaming, I do have a little more time to play a game. And I could do a big one and not just a couple small ones. I don't know. Tune in next week to find out. But anyway, we totally get it. And that's awesome that you're catching us up on where you're at, Sullivan. And it sounds like you're making some good headway there. I am curious how you're finding survival overall. He says he's liking survival. And what better way for his first ever playthrough of 4? Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, wow.
Right. Yeah. He'd done 3 in New Vegas. He played the older Fallouts, if I remember correctly, but hadn't done 4. And then jumped into 76 with us too on his old laptop.
Yeah, that's tough. I definitely don't recommend survival like for your first 4 playthrough. But of course, a lot of us now said we love it and we kind of don't want to go back. But I still don't know if it's the ideal first experience.
Yeah. Clint said deep end training, right? Talk about a boy or girl. You're jumping into the deep end for sure.
Yeah.
With
Also,
no
he
floaties.
he kept Piper over there at the Starlight Drive-In to be safe. It's something I've thought about before, but I like to keep my romances with me or whatever. But yeah, Piper, she's not going to like him going out in the wasteland, like by himself, like all that danger out there. So she's probably all worried about him.
Absolutely. That's a choice I make a lot too. It's like just because they're your roommates doesn't mean you need them to travel with you. And in some cases, it may not be for the best. Codsworth is metal. He can handle a few more dings on the old chronometer, right?
Yeah, well, he survived 200 years, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I definitely get that give and take. Having multiple companions, I feel a little bit better about it. But sometimes I do feel like they drew the shortest straw when they got to come out with me on a hard quest.
Oh, yeah.
Take a knee yet again.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss Curie. She's the mayor of Kingsport Lighthouse. And so when I've been traveling back and forth from Far Harbor, I always have to swim from the Nakana residence to Kingsport to be able to fast travel to Hangman's Alley. And so I always save there and get my lover's embrace. And then off I go again.
I'm going to have some house cleaning to do when I get back to the Commonwealth too, because I didn't realize this. I don't know if I told y'all. I downloaded, well, I think I did. I mentioned this whole weird role play aspect where I'm going, where Curie and Bond are going to retire to the coastal cottage. And I downloaded this mod, this coastal cottage mod that just makes it just this super, super nice, like a modern house. Like it's got like waterfalls in there and there's an aquarium floor that you walk over and it's got sliding glass doors all over the place that automatically open up. And it's real, real fancy, except something happened. I guess when I claimed it, I guess I didn't realize that I left that thing that you summon the settlers to on, which I didn't mean to. Maybe it just came with the mod. And now there's like 18 people running house squatting, like squatters in my coastal cottage that's Curie and Bond are supposed to retire to.
Gonna have to evict them for sure.
Yeah.
Turn that thing off and send them somewhere else.
Yeah, they found some nice cozy place, but it's been claimed.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I've gone back, as you guys know, like 2, maybe 3 times to go massage my settlements. When we get back there, there's a lot to catch up on.
So Clint said to send them all to Murkwater. That's where they're going for sure. That's perfect.
Oh my goodness. I am curious. Doing Automatron next week that we're going through all that. Will Curie have any special dialogue for the mechanist or for dealing with robots? Because I don't know that she does, but I didn't ever have her with me when I did it before. This was my first time doing it with Curie, so I'll get an ear out for that. And I would ask that anyone else playing with Curie that you do too, just in case.
Yeah.
But I'm curious how she feels about robots, or if she's basically says, "No, I'm a synth now."
Yeah, Clint has Curie, and I have Curie too. The one thing that bothered me, and I will keep an eye out on that as well. But the one thing, it drove me crazy that when you go to the railroad for the first time and they're sort of grilling you out front, like, what are your intentions to the synths and all this stuff? And I'm standing right there with Curie, who is a synth, and she like didn't speak up or say anything. It's like she could have said, oh, trust me, he likes them. Like, I'm a synth. But,
yeah. Fortunately for me, she was my love interest, so I
like
maxed her affinity, and we're done. So Ada is my follower. So I'll have Ada with me going through the mechanist. So
and she makes the most sense
anyway.
Yeah, she makes the most sense for that, doesn't she? Do you have to have her for a few bits of it?
Yeah, to get into the layer, because you build that antenna on her to be able to unlock the locks.
And she does ask that you bring her along with you as well. When you're first getting set up, that she'll wait for you, but she wants to go with you.
Hopefully I can find Ada. Like, I guess it'll give us a quest marker if we need her, huh? I forgot where I sent her to, like when I...
Yeah, I think that's one of the first ones is it should mark her.
I put her on guard duty. She is at my Starlight settlement on guard duty. Originally, I had her as a weapons vendor. Then she accepted the assignment. She's like, yeah, sure. And then she just kept wandering everywhere except for at her vendor bench. And I'm like, this will never do. So I put her at a guard station. And so now she kind of wanders around out front and occasionally leans against it. She doesn't assume the position like a human would, but she's out there kind of wandering around. Yep, exactly. Well, okay. Thank you so much for that feedback, Sullivan. Did anyone else have anything on Sullivan's playthrough?
Just that Piper killed Swan, or like she got him in a fight with Swan. Sorry, I keep talking, like people's feedback remind me of like my little things, and sorry about this. But I was just, when I went through and found Swan, I got in a fight and I killed Swan, and I felt bad about it. So I went back to a where I'd saved at a bed before so I could skirt by, and I'm not killing Swan this playthrough. Swan gets to live because he doesn't bother you unless you bother him.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
I almost never kill Swan.
Yeah.
It's his pond, after all. Swan's pond.
Plenty of notices around. Keep out. Swan. Arrows pointing all this way. Danger. So.
Also, a fun little anecdote in chat right now. Cosmo just shared a picture where he is on one of the terminals in the submarine, the Yangtze submarine in the Baypal 4, and he is playing Atomic Command. That is perfect. Sullivan says, "It's my pond now." Well, thank you so much, you guys. Next up on the feedback, we have Steve coming up. Hey, Pip-Boy Steve.
Here, everybody. It's Steve here with my feedback for Zenith. I was heading to the lighthouse, and I had Strong with me at the time, and we dropped by my Children of Adam mates that were not very welcoming. Anyway, I remembered that at the lighthouse, there's a bunch of landmines, and I'm just about to hit VATS to figure out where they are, and 2 of them go off next to me and nearly took me out. I had just taken level 3 adamantium skeleton, though, so no broken bones. Helps not slow you down if you're in a pinch. Anyway, I had totally spent the rest of the time running around shooting at the mines, me and mines. There was a nuke mine. I still hate landmines. Anyway, speaking of taking perks, I'm now level 90 and taking things like Gun Nut level 4 and Blacksmithing level 4, or is that 3? Perks I don't necessarily need right now, but I may in the future. I took a couple of perks just so I could add mods to Nuka World armor. So, for instance, you need Scrounger to make the deep pocketed mod, or Pickpocket for the ultralight mod, which is actually the one I really want because that Nuka World armor is heavy. I don't know if they figure that by the time you get to Nuka World that you will have leveled up your strength, but I'm still at level 6. I do run currently with at least 25% rads, and I have one rad powered piece of armor, so that does add a couple of points of strength. All right, speaking of pickpocket, I took it so I could do the ultralight armor mod for Nuka World armor, as I said, but I'm finishing up Far Harbor. Quick report. I got the harbormen to take out Arcadia, then I turned off the windmill, leaving the children of Adam in charge of the island. I'll get to my point here, Your Honor. Please let me continue. So I started hearing a weird computer ping sound. I noticed that I'm now starting to complete achievements that I had never completed in my first playthrough. I must have started adding mods, and I disabled achievements around that time in my first playthrough. That character was Todd, no relation to Todd Howard. I didn't know who Todd Howard was at the time. I kind of named him after the Todd from Scrubs. Anyway, achievements are now coming through again. That's exciting. So I got a spreadsheet online and I checked out how many I have left to get and which ones. I put a link to that spreadsheet into the live chat all shows on the Discord if anybody wants to check it out. I knocked out a couple of easy ones like assign a settler to a pillory and display a weapon on a weapons rack, armor on an armor rack, and power armor in a power armor display. So at this point, I have 69 of 84 achievements completed. I think I'm going to try and make this my 100% achievement run. I'm hoping I can do this before Starfield comes out. It does include all the Nuka World achievements and a few random ones. One of the random ones is pickpocket a grenade into an enemy. So taking that perk actually helps me with that. You have to have level 2 pickpocket to do that. So let's see. I have left reverse pickpocket a grenade, collect 20 bobbleheads, have 5 tamed creatures in a settlement. I'm hoping dogs and cats should work. Start a spectated arena fight in a settlement, build one of every cage type, and collect all the issues of the Islanders Almanac magazine. Oh man, I got to go back to the island and find those. And all the Nuka World achievements, as I said, which I know some of those are pretty in-depth. Oh man, what am I doing to myself? But my name is Zenith, which is the time at which something is most powerful or successful. So this should be fun. I'll see you in the wasteland.
Thank you very much, Steve. I'm currently pulling up a list to see if the achievements are different between Xbox and Steam, because I think you must be talking Steam achievements. Now, I have 6 left to do, all Nuka World, in order to get 100% achievements. But he mentioned all the Islander Almanac. Must have done that before, not sure. Yeah, it looks like there are 84 achievements total, with a total of 600 points, 1,600 points, I should say. And that's quite a bit. So if you are interested in his spreadsheet, it is in the live chat all shows in the Discord. If you want to have an achievement chart yourself to track things, because spreadsheets can be fun. We know Steve loves them.
Yeah. Somewhere along the way, like it was somewhere in the Commonwealth, I killed some kind of raider or something. I don't know. And on their body, I got one Nuka-Cade ticket. It was in the Commonwealth. And so I thought that was interesting that it wasn't in Nuka World, but I was thinking to myself, sweet, only 99,999 to go.
Oh, it's the absolute worst. That achievement is the worst. Lee mentioned it in chat too. That's one of those I haven't done. Now, big shout out, by the way, big shout out to Nana Janet, who has joined us a couple times, Sarah's mom. She completed all of that, I believe, last summer. She went back in. Yeah. She's played a ton of Fallout 4 and went in and got the Nuka-Cade tickets and everything there, which I'm a big fan of the basketball dunk method.
They also have the spray and pray or with the dunks or whatever they go across. Mm-hmm. But I mostly did the basketball dunk thing too. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's a pain, but you know what? It's doable. If you put your mind to it, you can do anything. Let's see. What else did he mention? Pickpocket with the ultralight armor. I agree on the weight issue. Like, it is true that as you go on and level up, and Nuka World was the 6th and last DLC they released, people did have a heavier carry weight by then. They probably put extra points in strength. They were leveled up. But yeah, there's always next playthroughs. There's always survival mode where we are very handicapped in terms of our carry weight. So those mods are essential.
Yeah, absolutely. I always go through and look at them and I try to compare because the different armors will have different sort of variances. Like sometimes whether it's like, because if you add the pocketed or deep pocketed mod, it also makes the armor heavier.
It
Right.
does.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
so then whether if you get ultralight, some obviously it's going to be a lot lighter. And so sometimes you're like, man, okay, so if I put deep pocket on, I only actually gain 1.5 pounds worth of carry weight.
Right.
Totally not worth it.
I've done that math too. Yeah, because you're like plus
Yeah.
5, plus 10, but this adds this, and
And
ultralight, you gain 4 back. Yeah.
well, and I'm trying to get all ultralight too. I was assigned pickpocket, so I have that. But yeah, I need to. Steve was talking basically about taking luxury perks at this point. Not ones that he really needs or would get, but he's so high ranked, he's just picking different things. And that's what I'm going to start doing as soon as I get into some of these electric ones. I want that armor up because I do want the all ultralight one for the weight, but also that extra AP you get for the ultralight.
Yep.
That's a good point. Yeah, that can be a
Yeah.
bit of a bonus especially if you're an AP or VATS heavy build.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got that with because I've got all ultralight on the marine armor that I got in Far Harbor. And so I've got a mountain of AP now. The only thing is I don't use VATS.
Yeah, see, I can't craft the ultralight. I keep hoping I'm going to get more ultralight armor pieces, but I've only been able to pull that mod off of one piece that I've found so far. So
Mhm.
all my other armors are regular. I only have the one ultralight. It's just they don't drop a lot, I guess.
Even here, over 2 months into this playthrough, I still think of things in 76 terms sometimes. Like I want to go to an armor bench and I want to craft myself a piece of apparel. Want to craft apparel, want to craft armor. Oh, I can't. Oh, I want to mod something. No, you can't. That's not how it works anymore. It's hard to get that mindset. Also, scrapping all. Oh my gosh. When you scrap those components, they weigh less. And goodness knows weight is an issue. But yeah, it is funny adjusting after all this time.
So I realize I maybe have been abusing the companion glitch there too much. Where I go, hey, go pick this
Yeah.
up, pick
Hey,
that
can
up.
you pick that up? Hey,
Yeah, yeah.
hey, can you pick that up?
Yeah, because when we got back to the one bench and I could like unload their stuff, yeah, Curie was carrying around like 1,800 pounds worth of stuff. And
No. Oh, wow. I tried using that for a while. I'm not above it.
It's like,
Selecting the piece for them to pick up can be so difficult. Like you go to command, and I mean, I don't know about you guys, but it can be really hard to pinpoint the right spot to actually command.
Yeah,
them.
well, and then if you have everyone's best friend, dog meat, keeps getting in the way, you're like, go check out dog meat.
Yeah, that's actually what happens the most. You got that exactly right. Goodness. He went children about him and did that stuff on the island. That was cool. And also the Todd reference, people laughing in chat, Scrubs, fun show. But he's like, yeah, named Todd after the Todd. I love it. The Todd was the original Chad in Scrubs. Any other feedback on that feedback?
Good luck on your achievement run.
Yeah, that's a great goal. You got a month to do it, and you're going to be playing that stuff anyway. So best of luck to you.
Hello, fellow Wastelanders. Eric, aka Suliore here, and yeah, let's continue on with my adventures since the last episode leading up to Automatron. So shouldn't take too long. Of course, I say that, and then I go on for about 10, 12 minutes. But if that's the case, then sorry. But yeah, let's pick up where I left off in Vault 88 after the EMP set off by Clem. So after that, it gets sent to Hallucinogen Inc. for their chemical research. So I took a vertibird to the closest area to where that was, and that just happened to drop me into Trinity Plaza where Swan is. He didn't pop up though, but I figured, what the hell? Let's roll the dice and see whether or not I can take him out. And if you've seen my video on the Facebook page, and I think I posted that in the StreamPod and video shared channel on the Discord, you see that I really didn't have any trouble with him. I was able to kill him before he even was able to get a shot on me, which is probably for the best, because had he got a shot on me, I probably would have been sent into space like one of the Skyrim giants. Maybe it'll take me to Neon City and Starfield. Who knows? But yeah, I was able to take him out within a few hits, which was fucking awesome. So yeah, he didn't stand a chance. So I have since, with my perks, maxed out Rifleman and Big Leagues, as well as I think I put some points into Bloody Mess. So I'm definitely trying to get my damage up. So yeah, Big Leagues is funny because you get like baseball animations. That's like when you decapitate somebody, it's like a home run decapitation. Always fun. So on the way back from the hallucinogen ink, I made a stop at Sanctuary to refill my purified water because somehow having 100 some odd purified waters, I still managed to run out. But I built and ran the soda pop station experiment. Clem just volunteers for everything. How can you not love a guy like that? So then I got sent to collect a ton of uranium from the deep within the vault to build the optometrist machine. But thankfully, I had enough nuclear material on me because of the weightless junk mod. I just keep everything. But yeah, the overseer said it was to improve your eyesight. Right. But yeah, I had the material on me, and of course, Clem volunteered to man the station once again. How does he know how to do all this shit? I don't know. But I passed another red speech check for the vault dweller because she was getting a little suspicious, but I was able to clear that up. Overseer Barstow seems like she's just completely apathetic for everybody. She does not care about the well-being of the vault dwellers. She just wants these experiments done. But she was pleased with the results. So next step was the slot machine. So yeah, that went fine too. The vault overseer decided to leave after that. So yeah, that really didn't take nearly as long as I thought. Like I said, I'd never done that before, but I, spent a little bit of time building in the vault. You might have heard I've gotten the building bug lately. What can I say? But yeah, I wanted some other stuff to do action wise with Fallout 4. So I decided to recruit the rest of the companions that I could. I'm not going to run with them because, I've got the Lone Wanderer perk going. But, I started with Kate and that went pretty well. Sent her to Mad Rock because I didn't have anybody at Mad Rock, and that is a settlement once you finish the clearing out of Mad Rock. It's pretty cool. So next up, I tried my hand with Strong, but I was getting a lot of crashing with that. I tried several times to make it up there. I was able to get into Trinity Tower, but once I got to the second or third floor, it would crash every single time. So whatever, can't recruit Strong. What can you do? So next up, I tried with Curie. So I took a trip to Vault 81, and I didn't quite have enough fusion cores on me to get in. So I had to make a trip back to the Pridwin and grabbed one out of my power armor that I'd apparently left in there. Oops. Thankfully, nobody stole it. And then Andrew was going on about how Proctor Ingram didn't have any legs, which is why she's always in that power armor chassis. So I never noticed that before. It's true. She doesn't have any legs. It totally makes sense now. Why did I never notice that before? I mean, I guess it's because I never really did any of the Brotherhood of Steel shit before. But yeah, it totally makes sense that she's running around in that chassis now, poor girl. I don't know if she takes it off when she goes to bed or not. I've never seen her sleep, but God, that must be hell to have to go to the bathroom in that thing. But yeah, I definitely had to see for myself. And yeah, she doesn't have any legs. So yeah, I went through the rest of the Vault 81 quests. They were pretty simple. Sent Ashes home. Ashes was basically right outside the vault. And then I got the cure for Austin. Picked up the bobblehead while I was there. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but when Austin was in the hospital room, knocked out with the mole rat disease, he wasn't laying down. He was standing up, and he was going through the bed. So that was kind of funny. But yeah, I sent Curie. Where the hell did I send Curie? I sent her to Sanctuary. So we'll see how she does with my Codsworth. So yeah, after that, I did do a little bit of automatron. So I picked up where I left off and took a trip to General Atomics, and of course that was filled with robots. And I made my way to the Robo Brain on the second floor, and I didn't open the security door first. I was able to blast the Robo Brain through the the little fence there, and that worked pretty well. Unfortunately, I lost dog meat in the process. I didn't have any more stem packs on me, but you know what? I had to make a trip back to the Red Rocket anyway, just because that's where I left Ada. So Ada tells me that the Robo Brain was in fact a Robo Brain. I'm guessing that's the first time we actually see them in the game. And she explained where the beacon was and said that we needed to get two more Robo Brains taken out to where we can actually locate the Mechanist. So that is where I'm at now. I did do Automatron during the last roundtable for Fallout 4 when I was playing as Vargas. And that God, that gauntlet's going to be hell. Like Jess said, I fully anticipated kicking my ass. But I'm level 49 right now. I know that I'd probably be well into my 50s if I was able to complete everything that I had set out to do, like the main quest and Radium Inc. But you all know my struggles with this game. But I'm determined to see it through, and I am kind of curious. Like I said, I've done Automatron before, but I'm curious as to whether or not the Mechanist is really Tom, aka Robots from Robots Radio. We'll see. And if you don't get that reference, go check out the rap battles that the Mechanist did with several of the people in the community a couple years back. You'll thank me later. Anyway, that is where I'm at right now. I did go over 9 minutes. That is where I'm at now. So until next time, I'll see everybody in the wasteland.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Suliore, for that feedback. Yeah, so you finished Far Harbor back mid-June and been kind of biding your time. So good to hear about your travels and journeys back in the Commonwealth there, getting preset on the Automatron. I cannot wait to hear if you get into an epic rap battle with the Mechanist at the end of that trip through the Mechanist lair. I'll wait in anticipation.
Yeah. Much like we have a person on the show here that was in one of those rap battles, right?
Yeah, I did one.
We did that. It was Wasteland Dude did that one that we all got together and made a little fun video for that.
That video was great. Yeah. Didn't Howie help with some of the beats for that too? Or did Howie help with the video?
Yeah. Howie put the music together and Wasteland Dude did the lyrics.
Mechanist didn't know what hit him. I mean, he was getting hit with a legendary 3-star there. Wasteland Dude actually having rapped IRL for quite some time. And a couple of the other people who joined in too. Some of us not as skilled.
Yeah, but yours was still good. I remember it.
It had a flow. It had a flow. But yeah, that's super fun. I love that reference. But welcome back to the Commonwealth. I hope it's good there. We're all heading back now. You know what I mean? I'm talking like I haven't gone back, but I've gone back a bunch. So that's good to hear your story. You mentioned the gauntlet too. Now that we're higher level, I actually don't anticipate it being that bad. But early on, those traps, like if you bumped a trap or whatever, it was killer. Like, can you imagine going to Nuka World instead of Far Harbor at the level we did? I mean, I know some people were level 1 million, like Andrew, but some of us went to Far Harbor at like level 32, like Ray, or I had hit like, what was it, 39, maybe 40 when I first went there. And I've just been leveling like crazy once I went because of all the XP you can get in Far Harbor and going back. So yeah, the gauntlet at level 25, 30 would be tough. That Assaultron out front, I can hardly imagine. Now we killed 2 almost that bad in the command center of the nucleus. We've got the Assaultron Dominator in the tunnels and then guarding. And oh my God, that fight. Will, how did you handle that fight?
I don't even remember that Nuka World.
So at Dima's Blue Nightmare, when you unlock it and that Assaultron comes out.
I did. Oh, wait. Okay. I do remember it was tough because that's the one that's like all super explodey, right? Oh, in that little room. Okay. I remember now. Yeah. Oh, wait. No, it was hard. Sorry. This is one of the things I'm known for is like I have a terrible memory. You know, I'm always blaming it on Diet Coke and too much aspartame. But it was, I had a whole bunch laid out, just a whole bunch of mines outside of that room or like that you go like is going. And then I went and I remember I hit the little thing to let it out. And then I just ran. I just booked it and let it come like blow itself up on a lot of those mines. And it's still like it even got past a lot of those mines, but I was kind of, around the corner and I would shoot at it when I could. And it worked me like all the way back, like down the stairs and pretty far back into the building there. But, I finally did it. And I did die several times.
I'm sorry to bring back the bad memory, though. At least your trauma.
I had actually buried it on purpose, apparently.
See, yeah, that's the danger that you play sometimes. Instead of giving you catharsis, I made you relive the pain.
Yeah.
And I am sorry. Suliore said he got lucky that his crippled the legs. And yeah, people talking about the various things with the Assaultron. That was just an epic battle for me. I could not believe how hard that was. That's why I had to bring it up again. I guess it was cathartic for me at least. So thank you. Well,
yeah, and it got so lucky this one time. I had it down. I had its legs crippled, but they're still pretty fast. Like even when they crawl along. And I saw it and I knew it was coming. And this one thing I went to like just barely even sneak around the corner, just like almost like peek my head around the corner to try to get a shot on it while it was like approaching and crawling, and just I guess the half of my head that stuck out the side of the corner was enough for it to shot that laser beam straight at me and just down immediately. But
yeah. Well, this whole playthrough has been kind of challenging because, and right now I'm working towards Blitz.
Right.
Because I have to be right next to, whatever it is. And my Ripper is incredibly powerful. I don't have any problem once I'm there. It's just getting there that kills me.
Yeah.
And so, always having to position yourself, sneak up on things, be able to get right in their face before they can take a shot.
Right. So you probably have the same problem I have. I talked about this with Jen some. A lot of times you go to a building, like I would go to some of these big giant buildings that have a whole bunch of super mutants or gunners or whatever on the outside, and you're supposed to clear them out. I always found once I got inside the building, like I was good. I could kind of go through, kill almost everything I needed without too much trouble. But getting into the building, all these buildings was so difficult with all these gunners, just trying to get the approach going.
Yeah.
And so was that like that for you? Because for Jen, it was just the opposite. Like I guess that speaks to how playstyles differ.
Yeah. Whenever you're melee, you have to deal with that ranged attack.
Yeah.
So you're always looking for cover, but it's the ones that you don't see, the surprise that gets you. You need the detect life spell.
Yeah, you do. The very mentats. I think you mentioned you do have rooted, right? You have rooted and the melee surprise one. But yeah, I remember you saying maybe early on when we heading Far Harbor, like you probably weren't even going to make it to Blitz. So it looks like now it's become essential enough. You're like, I really have to.
Yeah, I've got to get Blitz. So I've been running my agility up. I did run my intelligence way up so that I could get robotic expert and nuclear physicist. So I got those. And now I'm working on Blitz.
Excellent. Nuclear physicist, that's the radiation damage, right?
Yeah, radiation damage and extending the life of your power armor. Because I want to get the overboss power armor when I get there.
Right. So. That makes sense. Yeah, because you've been using power armor more. Might as well overboss it up. And that's a pretty large park to run out of fusion cores.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I need to get that Vim power armor back to the Commonwealth. I just remembered.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I have my little collection of them over there at Sanctuary. I don't use them, but I like collecting them.
Mine's over at Dalton. Is it worth the trip? I did go back to Far Harbor because I wanted to try to do the captain's dance and clean up a couple things. I never did Red Death this playthrough, losing boat or not. So I had to go back and do those last two things. But I'm well on my way to hitting Assault at this point. So we'll see. Sorry, Automatron.
Yeah. Well, I'm back in Far Harbor. I told you, like, I went back after I met with Kasumi's family and all that, just because I did have those things I wanted to clean up. So I haven't done Red Death either, but I think I'm going to still.
Well, what do you guys want to say about jumping into a game?
Let's do it.
Okay, well, I don't have the game time on tap. I did download it, but I didn't set it up. So sorry.
What time is it? Game time.
There you go.
Is that what it is?
Got it. Perfect. So ours is better anyway.
All right. Oh, where are my index cards? I'm hoping this doesn't turn into a disaster, but I guess my games always have that possibility.
I mean, that's part of the fun, right?
Yeah, because I think this is, I mentioned to you beforehand, it's more visually suited. So I was just playing Fallout 4 one day, and y'all know how you run across a super mutant and they have the various variants of them, and you know which ones are like, some are like a lot more difficult, and then you got the easier ones and all that stuff. So we're going to play a little game here that has you rank them, see if you can know what order the hardest ones are in some of these. I have 4 categories, and
Oh, beautiful.
I'm
Okay.
going to do this like Price is Right. Did you ever see Price is Right back in the day? I
Of
haven't seen it in
course.
years.
I stayed home from school sick once or twice. Yep.
Yeah, they used to have the thing in Bob Barker. He would be like, okay, rank these from lowest price to highest price. And they would go and they would take the little cards and they put them on the board and they would try to do that. And then at the end, they'd be like, okay, you have, okay, maybe they're like 7 of them. 5 of them are in the correct position. I will give you, like 2 swaps or something like that. You can try to couple of plays to get them in the correct order. So that's kind of the way this is going to be. I'm going to tell you what these variants are. You guys are going to have to come up with an order for them. You're going to have to work with yourself to get them in order.
Are we doing this with each other?
Work together. And, I don't know how you guys want to one of you wants to supersede each other and say, no, it's definitely this one. It's definitely this one. That's what I'm saying. You might want to write these down and then maybe you could put down, what do you think is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But because I have to make things even more complicated.
Oh, no. Okay, here comes the caveat.
I'm saying, no, it's actually, I figured, well, I'm going with Price is Right. I might as well just keep borrowing with it.
For everyone we get wrong, you're going to get a point, right?
No. Y'all are the goal is to get through. I have 4 categories. Y'all going to try to get to them. I'm going to give you 2 switches or re-rolls, I guess, if you will, automatically. But I have some questions here for you to answer based on Far Harbor. Each one you get correct will give you another re-roll. So
we're going to earn re-rolls if we don't get our order correct the first time.
Right. So you get 2 automatically, but then I have a few more questions and you can get a few more. And so the goal
What are you, Bethesda? We're getting 2 automatic re-rolls daily, and now we have to buy more at the Adams question shop?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
I guess so. But, this is the way it was in Price is Right. They would say, oh, they had little mini contests before, and then that would help them in the sort of the bigger contest for the car. So here are just a few questions, these are all Far Harbor trivia based questions. Okay. Who is the friendly super mutant living in a crashed airplane?
Erickson.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay. Y'all should get that. Far Harbor is based off of what real life island in Maine?
Mount Desert Island. The town is Far Harbor. The island is Mount Desert.
Well, the town is
Bar Harbor.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So
I 100% get that.
Such a Maine answer.
I know. Well, she sort of ruined my next question too, which is Acadia. It's based off a spot in Acadia National Park. It sits atop this mountain.
Cadillac Mountain?
Oh, very good. Yeah. Very good. So I knew you were going to get those. Okay. What is the name of the quest that starts off the Far Harbor expansion?
I think, Ray, is it start off far from home and ends close to home? Is that what it is? Or is there one ahead of time before Far From Home?
It depends on how you start it. No, I think Far From Home is the first one.
Okay, let's go with that then. Final answer.
It is Far From Home. Okay. I will say all those were ones I just came up with. And then I was looking up different questions. I found this Far Harbor quiz online that was actually very easy. I did it and I got 18 of the 20 right in the few things. And the 2 I missed are your next 2 questions. So the ones I got is, what is the name of the murder mystery side quest in Far Harbor?
Oh, wow. Ray, I don't remember. I remember meeting Pearl, but I don't think I did this playthrough. Vault, what is it, 114 in there?
Yeah, it's 114.
And then you go in with Pearl. Is it a night to remember or no? I'm forgetting.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay,
I mean, I did the
that's
quest, but I don't remember it.
Do you want to?
That's an X. I missed that one too. So when I was going to say it.
What is it?
Wasn't surprising. It is Brain Dead.
Brain Dead. Totally forgot.
Okay. I had to give y'all some hard. I couldn't give you all easy, gimmies.
That's a great way to do it. What one could I not get? And then decide to tell us.
Yeah, Bar Harbor. Okay, so what is the name of the unique fog crawler that's killed in a special quest during Far Harbor?
Shipbreaker.
Yeah.
Shipbreaker. Yay. Okay, so y'all got all but one. Very good. I missed Shipbreaker on the quiz. I couldn't remember it. So yeah, we'll get a total of 7 re-rolls here if you want. Okay, we're going to start with Raiders. Now, if you have a pen, I don't know how you want to write these down, figure it out. Hopefully this does not fall apart. But the variants of Raiders are, we have Scum, Psycho, Survivalist, Boss, Waster, Veteran, and Scaver.
Okay, so this is a large category. So
This
we are
is
looking
sort of a large one, I'm sorry.
We're looking at 7 raiders here: Scum, Psycho, Survivalist, Boss, Waster, Veteran, and Scaver. Ray, can we agree that Boss is probably the top, or do you think Survivalist is?
Yeah, I'd go with Boss.
Yeah, okay, we'll make Boss the top. Okay, I feel like Survivalist will probably be the next behind it because I remember Survivalist being one of the toughest, and I think I'm only just now seeing them come in.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
Okay. So next, what do you think? And I'm working my way down. Do you want to work your way the other way? I just kind of felt like we eliminate
No,
the
that's fine.
harsh ones
Yeah.
first. Okay. So Veteran, Waster, or Psycho? Which do you think is tougher? Veteran maybe, or is it like Waster? I don't remember Wasters.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I'd go Veteran.
Okay. We'll do Veteran 3. Then maybe, because I feel like Scaver and Scum are at the bottom, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Do you think Scum's lower than Scaver? Which one do you think is on top? I feel like Scum would be lowest and then Scaver. No, you know what? Scaver's lowest. Scaver's lowest and then Scum. Okay. So Waster or Psycho? Which one is tougher?
I'd go with Psycho.
Okay. Make Psycho tougher. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I wrote that down. Did you write it down, Ray? Do you want to read it back?
So I started with Boss at 7,
Yep.
Survivalist 6,
Mhm.
Veteran 5, Psycho 4, Waster 3, Gum 2, Scaver 1.
Yes. I'm totally with him on that.
Okay, you have one in the correct order.
Oh, damn.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. We
let's
might have to
assume-
switch up these rules.
Let's
Would you
assume
like-
that we know. No. I like this. So what that means is with probably a ton in the correct order, but we got one that threw everything else off, if that makes sense. So maybe like making Boss the toughest or everything else off or something. Ray, Will, you're making a face.
Yeah, I mean,
No, I'm just looking at my cards. I'm trying to see how they go.
Okay. I still feel Scaver is the weakest. Scum's got to be second weakest, unless Psycho is. I mean, Psycho could switch with Scum, I suppose, or Waster.
How about this also? You can ask for the proper location of one card every round. How about that?
Okay.
Of each category. So
Which one should we ask about? I feel like Boss is the one throwing us off, but that could be dumb. Boss.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good place to start.
Okay, let's anchor something.
Yeah,
Boss.
if we know Boss is right, then
Boss is the one you got correct. So that is number 7.
Oh, so Boss is the toughest. Okay, so we're right about that. Well, then heck muffins. Okay, well, maybe we should swap Veteran and Survivalist. Maybe Veteran is tougher than Survivalist. Okay, we're going to lock those in. Is Veteran after Boss and then Survivalist going down in order?
Yes.
Okay, good. So we're right. We just swapped 2. By that logic, if we just keep swapping 2, what if we were to say Psycho and Waster? So Waster would be next toughest, then Psycho. Okay. And then
so Waster 4, Psycho 3.
exactly. And then we can at the same time swap Scaver and Scum. So Scum is the weakest and Scaver is next weakest. How does that sound?
Yeah.
Because I feel like we were close. And this idea of just like swapping 2. Okay, I'm going to read this one back. I think we've got this, Will. We're going to start from the weakest to toughest this time, okay?
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Weakest is Scum, followed by Scaver next. Then we have Psycho. Next we have Waster. Then we have Survivalist, Veteran, and Boss.
You have 5 of the 7 in the correct order.
Okay.
Y'all want me to just tell you then? We could do that. Sorry, this was a little tougher than we were going. We tried.
5 out of 7. Let's go. Okay, what is the actual order?
So the actual order is Scum, Psycho,
Ooh.
then Scaver, Waster, Survivalist, Veteran, Boss.
So Psycho, despite having a boss-ass name, is really not that tough.
Right. Yeah. I mean, y'all were right on Scum, but yeah, Psycho, not that tough. Yeah.
Well, I like the fact that our kind of thought was basically correct, that while we were off at first, we had things in almost the right order, just a little bit interwoven.
Yeah. So, and this is going long. I had 4 categories. If you think it's going long and we want to just do 2.
No, I mean, right here is our, from chat, we have Pip-Boy Steve saying, I love your games, Will, just saying. So, it's great.
Okay, well,
I
there's
do
one.
too.
Yay.
They're fun to play. Just, I got to make sure they're good to listen to too.
Yeah, well, no,
Okay.
it's just like this one, if there was like a visual cue and y'all had to actually like put the little cards in order and stuff, it
Yeah,
would
like a
be
tier
fun,
list.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So how about this? We will go with all of them honestly are about as long as that one, although this one here may be a little shorter.
You can always cut
No,
one or two out
it's
too.
the same length, yeah. So here, let's try this. Let's try ghouls.
Ooh, ghouls.
Okay, so what we have for ghouls is we have a reaver, we have charred, roamer, stalker, rotting, withered, and gangrenous. I left out, of course, like the glowing ones, the putrid and bloated glowing ones, all that stuff. So
Okay, this is a really good one too. So we've got 7 again. 7 again. I know charred and withered are some of the toughest. I feel like roamer is lower. What is rotting? Do you know rotting ghouls, Ray? It's not even coming to mind.
Mm-mm.
No, I don't remember ever seeing rotting ghouls. I'm sure they're a thing if you say so, but it doesn't make
yeah, well, I looked it up in the thing. I left off the ones that were like obviously that you don't see a lot, like like the pink ones and stuff from Suffolk County and others like kind of sort of rare ones. I've definitely run across some rotting ghouls this playthrough.
Okay, so
Maybe
chat's
they aren't
enjoying
as
it.
common.
Bali says we're playing along in our heads. Just go for it. Okay, you guys. So starting at the lowest, I would put rotting near the bottom, Ray, if you're cool with that, since I don't really know it, and I feel maybe that's like just like a generic goal. Where would you start? What do you think is at the bottom?
So I think that roamers are the ones that you see right off the bat. So
Yeah, they're definitely weaker.
and then you see a lot of stalkers.
Yeah, stalker can't be too far up. I feel like once reavers start showing up, that's when you're like, oh man, I am in this stuff.
Yeah.
Do y'all want one slight hint without saying anything? If you think of like their full names of when they with something feral ghoul, some of them the descriptors before and some of them is after. That's almost delineates.
That's
whether
true.
they're hard- yeah.
Feral ghoul stalker, whereas we get feral ghoul reaver, whereas we get charred feral ghoul. We know that the charred ghouls are the toughest, right? Are they still the toughest, or are withered tougher? I feel like those are the 2 toughest.
Yeah, I think charred.
I do too. And then withered just below charred. Also, like the charred are the big thick boys. Like they're the real like brown looking fatties. And then the withered ones are usually like super withered and they look kind of more like Draugr. I'm just kind of trying to picture them too. Is gangrenous, I think, is probably right below withered, right? Gangrenous is pretty tough.
Yeah, they're they're up there.
Okay, and then I'll put reaver right in the middle at number 4. So, Will, your clue was great, but let me kind of read back. Okay, we've got the ones Ray put on the weakest side and the ones I thought on the toughest side. So we're going to go rotting ghoul, roamer, number 2, stalker, 3, reaver, 4, followed by them gangrenous boys, number 5, withered at 6, and charred feral ghouls at number 7.
You have 2 correct in the correct order.
I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed with us. If this was Mastermind, oh gosh,
It's hard. It's like you said, though, you just get one kind of like in the wrong place and it kind of slides a few to the left or right in my little display here. So.
Okay, then. So you're going to give us a hint of one that is in the correct position, or you're going to give us the position of one. Do you want to pick one? Which one should we ask about? Like, which one are we the least sure on? Do you think?
So
Ray?
how many did we get right?
2. Wait.
But it's 2 like specific position.
Yes. You know what? Actually, I will go because I will say this too. I will give you the 2 that you have in the correct order because that's actually what they do in the Price is Right, right?
It's like a Wordle. It's a Google.
Yeah. So
We're
the
playing
2 that
Google.
are in the correct order are gangrenous and charred.
Okay. So there's still something between gangrenous and charred, but gangrenous and charred are in the correct position. So there is something between gangrenous and charred. Chat is saying they think withered is lower powered. We're getting help from chat now too, which is great. Thank you, Sullivan. Thinks withered might be lower powered. I was thinking withered was tougher, but I'm not sure. If there's something in there between, Ray, you do think
Probably
stalker
rotting.
is maybe rotting is the in between one. Yeah.
Because I think it's a higher one.
Also, if the adjective is in front, it's tougher then because it's gangrenous feral ghoul, charred feral ghoul, and rotting would be rotting feral ghoul. So let's do that. Let's make that number 6. And then let's make withered, swap it for like number 5 because that would still come before.
Well, you already had 5 correct when gang.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, sorry. I mean number 4. Let's make it number 4. And then on the bottom, we had roamer, stalker, and reaver. And feral reaver, feral roamer, feral stalker. Those all come after. Okay, that's good. So that would be 1. Okay, I think we've got it. Can I read this off again, Ray?
Yeah.
I don't think I messed up what we did. Okay. So we're sliding the bottom down 1, and then we're slapping the rotting in there in the middle. So we're going to go with roamer, stalker, reaver, withered, gangrenous, rotting, charred.
perfect. Y'all got it. That was you went from 2 to 7, just like that.
Beautiful. I mean, if this was a Wordle, we'd be way up there. Okay, this is fun. I feel like we did a little more confident on that one.
Yeah. So I mean, you want to cut it off or you want to keep going? You have 5 re-rolls left. So
Let's do one more.
okay, I will let you take your pick then. Player's choice. You can do super mutants or synths.
Oh, geez. Do you know synth hierarchy, Ray? I think super mutants.
Let's go super mutants.
Okay, we'll do super mutants. Okay. So for super mutants, we have Enforcer, Warlord, Suicider, Master, Butcher, Brute, Overlord,
That'll make 7.
Skirmisher, and Primus. What I am going to do though, because there are a lot of these, and one of these it's a little bit confusing, I'm going to remove Suicider. Suicider is technically the lowest one.
I was going to say, it's got to be the bottom. That would have been my guess, actually, for
Oh, did
Suicider.
you? Okay, well, I was gonna say,
Because they're just fodder. They're
yeah,
beat.
they run out. You think of them, they cause panic when you hear that little mini beep, beep, beeping.
They're the
but
scariest, but yeah.
Yeah. So that will leave us with 8 then. Sorry, I took the easy one away.
So, not necessarily, because it's the more
Just-
confusing
or
one.
what Suicider is definitely the bottom, or you can do it.
So, how do rerolls work? What do they do for us?
Oh, that was just no. So I was calling them re-rolls, but basically y'all have done it twice. Like you had the correct order, and then you're like, okay, well let's shuffle them around. So you shuffled them twice.
Okay, so we have 5 guesses left. We have 5 tries left. Got it.
Yes.
Okay. Starting from the bottom, is Brute the lowest? We got Brute, Butcher, and Skirmisher, which I think are near the bottom. Maybe Enforcer.
I think Skirmisher.
Okay, Skirmisher lowest. Followed by Brute or Enforcer? I think Brute.
Brute.
Then we'll go with, we have Enforcer or Butcher. Oh, Butcher isn't that high. How about Butcher next, then Enforcer, just to try it?
Okay.
I'm probably off. A name like Enforcer just sounds like he actually knows what he's doing.
But, you know,
They're stupid mutants, right? So it could be anything. Okay, that leaves us with Primus, Overlord, Master, and Warlord. Let's see, what would the order be there? Warlord is tougher than Master. Is that right? I don't know about Overlord and Primus. I had my first Primus the other day. So Primus must actually be tougher than Master. Or maybe even Warlord. Okay, what do you think? Warlord or Master? Which is tougher?
I think the Warlord's tougher than a Master.
Okay, then can we put
Because
Master?
I'm seeing Masters now in the 30s and into 40.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I've had Masters for a while. I feel like I'm just now hitting Warlords occasionally and my first Primus. I don't know if I've seen an Overlord yet. Is Overlord tougher or Primus tougher? Overlord probably should be the toughest, but I feel like maybe I'm overweighting Overlord. Yeah, let's just try it. Can I just run through this list and then see how many we got wrong?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, y'all got plenty of things left, so go ahead.
Okay, good. I didn't get Ray's input enough on the end. I'm sorry, Ray, but let's just do this and hear how off we are.
Yeah, let's see where we're at.
Okay,
We've got a ton of
Skirmisher.
rerolls.
Exactly. Skirmisher, Brute, Butcher, Enforcer, Master, Warlord, Overlord, and Primus.
You have 2 in the correct positions. Those 2 are Skirmisher and Brute.
Oh, nice. So the very bottom is correct. But it's a building. It's a building year. Now we just worry about the next 6.
So what the next 2 we have are
I had Butcher and Enforcer. We could swap those if you think
let's
it's
switch
better.
those, yeah.
Okay. Make that 4 and that 3. And after that, we had Master, Warlord, Overlord,
Well,
Primus.
do we want to just check that one?
Well, Master, the last ones have to be wrong. So we could, oh, I see what you're saying. God, you're so smart. Okay, let's do that. Okay, here we go. Will, we have
Yes.
Skirmisher, Brute, Enforcer, Butcher, and then 4 wrong ones.
What? I mean, what are the 4? Oh, because you didn't change those?
Master, Warlord, Overlord, Primus. Yep.
So you actually have 5 of the 8 correct. Yeah, because when you move the one around, you can put it in front of Master, like now. So that slid Master into the right position. So you have 1 through 5 in correct position.
Okay.
Sweet.
Skirmisher, Brute, Enforcer, Butcher, Master. God, we are bosses. Okay, this is good. I'm locking those ones in. So now it's just
We just have to
Warlord,
switch around.
Overlord, and Primus.
Yeah.
Obviously, Overlord is tougher than a Warlord. I think that just makes sense.
Okay.
Primus, maybe I was thinking Primus was too valuable. Maybe Primus is actually below Warlord and Overlord. What do you think? After Master, but before those 2? It's worth a try. That would move all 3 of them. That would be 6, that would be 7, and that would be 8.
Okay.
Okay, Will?
Yeah, you want to just call it 6, 7, and 8 and see what you.
Number 3, yeah, 6, 7, and 8. We have Primus, Warlord, Overlord.
So that would be 0 correct of those 3.
So I really screwed that up. Okay. So I had moved Primus for number 8. Was originally Warlord, Overlord, Primus. Moving Primus in front of Warlord and Overlord did not work out.
So what was our first wrong answer? So it was Warlord,
Overlord, Primus was the first one, and that was wrong.
Overlord, Primus. And then our second wrong one.
Primus, Warlord, Overlord. So apparently my idea that a Warlord is less than an Overlord might be what's wrong here. Only so many permutations.
All right. So Primus has to go in the middle.
Oh, it does. Right.
Because it's been on both ends.
Yep.
So Primus. Warlord was wrong
as number 6 and number 7.
6.
Yep.
So that's got to be Overlord.
That's got to be the toughest, right?
Warlord's
got to be the
Warlord
toughest.
has to be the top.
Okay.
Well, but it was wrong there before.
Warlord has never been the top, and Overlord has never been number 6.
Okay.
Okay. Here's our final list locked in. Let's go from the top.
Okay.
The super mutants in order of difficulty. We have Skirmisher, Brute, Enforcer, Butcher, Master, Overlord, Primus, Warlord.
Yay! Yay! Very
nice.
Good.
With a reroll or 2 to spare.
Yeah, a couple of spare. Although you might have been in trouble if we had kept the sense involved.
Yeah.
No,
we definitely would be in trouble with the sense.
It's all right though. Very good. Very good. Sorry if that was a tough listen to everyone. You know, it was sort of a groupthink exercise that I was trying to do there.
Yeah.
People listening live enjoyed it.
We're unstoppable.
We are.
Yeah. It was fun for me to listen to you be like, I feel like Warlord is definitely not as strong as an Overlord or a Prime, and all this. And I was like, nope.
Oh yeah,
so
sure.
wrong.
It's great when you know the answers.
Yeah, no, it's easy from the side.
But you do have to feel like an Overlord would be tougher than a Warlord.
I think so. I remember the first time ever playing Fallout, like I kept wondering as you were leveling up in these new tougher like super mutants, it's like, yeah, there was already an Overlord. And I was talking to my son, it's like, what could even be next? And then there was a Primus. It's like, guess what's next, Parker? And then it's like, there's another one. We know when we finally got to Warlord.
That's amazing. Yeah, Archie says it's kind of like hacking. Exactly, because kind of like Mastermind or Wordle, but hacking in Fallout was kind of the original Wordle. It got so popular. But
right, yeah.
That was awesome. Well, thank you, Will. That was super fun. I really enjoyed playing it. So let's get into some quick iguana bits. You guys, I'm going to keep this short tonight. We did have a big update Tuesday. I just put update notes and issues. I already talked about some of them. There are some building issues coming in that are not working quite right. But here's the big one I didn't mention at the top of the show. For those who haven't been playing regularly, haven't already found this. The Fallout First members, you go to your scrap box and can normally scrap all. For some people, it is not working right now. If you have an item that would qualify as a junk item in the junk category, that is a quest item. Because you know how normally you have certain items that are quest items that cannot be scrapped or dropped. It'll say this cannot be scrapped, this cannot be dropped because it's a quest item. They seem to have made that inclusive into the scrap all list, which then gets in the way of being able to scrap. So you have certain circuit boards for quests. Items for Ward are the most common. Something you picked up for Ward, you got to turn in. I'm thinking bug parts from Stings and Wings. I haven't tested it yet, but any number of quest items in your inventory that are waiting for you to finish a quest to be able to resolve. If you have them in your inventory, you can't scrap out the scrap box. You can still scrap one section at a time. So if that's happening to you, that's why. Complete as many of your quests that you have pending as you can with items, and it should work again. Archin said he had that problem. I know Suliore was having that problem pretty badly the other day. A few of my other friends are too. So that's how you get around it right now. And they are aware. They're aware of that as well as the building issues. Other things in the update. Let's see. Various camp item audio fixes. Oh, music now plays when opening the perk card menu. I didn't know that, but there you go.
Music plays in the game?
Also, here's a fun one, the popcorn emote. So for those of you who don't know, there's a popcorn emote on the scoreboard, which is freaking awesome. Your mouth was closed when you're tossing the popcorn. They have now fixed it so your mouth is open. So you can actually catch the popcorn, not instantly have it whack your face. Heavy weapons, Gauss miniguns, they fixed a bunch of animations for those, which is excellent. Camps and workshops. So Stephen Scarberry and Joey Bello now have dialogue with other players. So Stephen Scarberry was your Mothman ally from last scoreboard, and Joey Bello is the stand-up comic who, by the way, stole some of my material. I mean, his dad jokes are on point, but I feel like I've used a few of those before. Anyway, Joey Bello, they now have dialogue for other characters visiting too. So it used to be that you tried to talk to them and they wouldn't really interact with you. They just had one line and that was it. Oh, contextual ammo. Here's an interesting one. Players can now receive diluted stim packs as contextual ammo when you're using a melee weapon in daily ops. So you know how when you're using a weapon that doesn't have ammo that'll drop, you get like missiles or something crappy like that. Now you can get diluted stim packs. So for a lot of our melee friends, and we do have a bunch, enemies that would drop ammo for you normally will drop diluted stim packs.
That's cool.
Yeah, something nice. And then there's some renames, some changes.
I thought it would always drop me 45 ammo.
Was it 45?
Because I had a fixer in my inventory, even though I was using a melee weapon, my weapon during the thing.
I've never been a melee character in a daily op, so I don't know. Even when you have the must use a melee to kill the creatures with the mutations and stuff like that, I just be gun bash them in the face.
Are the diluted stim packs are they much more valuable in caps than like a lot of like a 45 round or something like that? Because it seems like a good way to like go clean out.
You know, this just off the top of my head, but I feel like default 10 caps versus 1 to 3 for most things. So yeah, they might be. There are a few other things, obviously, as always, they put the patch notes up, but those are the things I thought I would mention. This was just a quality of life update. A lot of little things for weapons and descriptions for the UI and various things, but a lot of stuff they were testing on the PTS, some of it is live, but some of it isn't.
Yeah, Archin said a diluted ones are only worth 3 caps. It's still on par.
Yeah, that is on par then. You know, maybe it's one of those things where it says 10, but then you go to sell it and it's only 3. So
right.
You know how that is. Oh, the large bird's nest egg display too. There is an egg display, which I should mention if you guys haven't seen that. It's awesome. It's a big old bird's nest, but it's a display. You can put things in it. And so they adjusted how the eggs look if you use that. But honestly, they made that specifically for you to dress as a turkey and go to lotus pose in it and sit.
Of course.
Just so you know, that's exactly what they made it for. But that's about it for the update. It's a cool update. There are the 2 issues that are happening, but lots of other good things. And of course, a lot to look forward to. One thing that was announced this week that I'm really excited about is, you know how we have free cam in build mode now? We have for, what is it, since end of November or beginning of last December. So about 8 months now, we've had free cam. And it can be a fun way to build, especially if you have a project and you're doing a lot of repetitive tasks. It's great for that. But the problem with free cam in your camp, you would have all the UI and everything around it and things glowing green. Well, now they're testing this out, that you can use photo mode in your camp, just like free cam. So this won't work all over the map. Like you can't just do it anywhere you go, but in your camp, you can zoom and pan as much as you want within the camp radius, which will be fantastic for filming camp videos. Also for people doing acting of any kind or any kind of that activity in their camp who wants to be able to use photo mode in your camp. And if you're on custom world, since you can put a camp anywhere, you can technically get the ability to get a zoom out photo mode anywhere on the map using the custom worlds place anywhere. So I'm going to be using that, Will, for some location photos for sure. Like I already do that some on PC where I'll go to custom and I'll build like a super tall tower and then use that to then get a picture.
Oh yeah, I've done that. That's sure, right. Yeah, like build those giant towers to like get that picture you want.
Exactly, like 9, 10 stories at least. And in custom, it's so much easier. So that's going to be awesome. Anyway, those are things on the update notes.
It's the only time I really ever use it. I know a lot of people would go to the Queen and like stack up the tent that we have, but they had that thing where you could stack the tents on top of one another and you could keep moving up. I would, use that to try to get a picture, which not the easiest way because sometimes you fall off. You're trying to do that. Just start all over.
Yeah, that is a tough thing to do. I mean, people who did it went through all the work to do it back in the day. They just kind of left their tents there. Like still have mine above top of the world, and some people have their tents in specific locations.
Oh, is yours still there?
Yeah.
You've given up on yourself.
My main character has not had a usable survival tent since Wastelanders. That's just that's how I did. So it was a choice I made. At this point, obviously, I'm not really using it as much anymore, but it's still fun. It's still a fun trick to be like, hey, fast travel to my survival tent. And sure, they die the first time because they fall to their death. But then, if I convince them to do a second time, they don't just leave.
Yeah, when I built
be
that,
on top of the world.
Yeah, when I built the bobblehead monument bridge, it was often very, very hard to get to it, like fast travel to it. Like Ray would mention, sometimes that was one of those things where you have to like fast travel twice. You have to fast travel to it and then fast travel to it again sometimes. And really just I put a survival tent not too far from it, like up there. And then that was my fast travel point. I would just fast travel to the survival tent so I could walk over to my camp. Yeah.
So anyway, that's it for my bits. With that, I think we can move into the shouts. So first of all, I wanted to give a more serious shout out to some furry friends. We have a couple people in our community, and I know you feel this keenly too, Will, who have recently lost some of their pets, some of their furry children. I'm bringing this up because people I love in the community have, but also my family dog, not my pug, but my mom's dog, Jasper, just passed away yesterday as well. There have been so many, and just shout out to the furry friends. We love you so much. Thank you so much for the unconditional love and cuddles and fantastic stories that you all give us. You're all amazing. And I just wanted to give a shout out and that my sympathy is with those of you in the community who have lost them.
Yeah, no, and that's good because some people, a lot of people just see them as pets and all that, but then a lot of us also, they're so much more than pets. They are like really, truly family members, and we see their distinct personalities and all that stuff. And so, and
it's tough.
Yeah,
that's good.
It is. It's devastating.
It's tough. But on the slightly more amusing side, for those of you who haven't been on Facebook recently, might follow one friend of ours, Frater Novak. Frater's food posts are back.
Oh, jeez.
Just when you thought it was safe to open up your Facebook feed, just when you thought it was safe to look there, no, you're getting scorpion pizza in your feed. You are getting glizzies with like a banana and a hot dog bun with peanut butter and jelly and all this weirdness. You're getting Frater food again. You all know what that means. It's disgusting. It's gross. Some of it is actually kind of tasty looking, but no. So yeah, Frater's food posts are back. Open up Facebook if you want to see, and don't say I didn't warn you. Thank you so much. Anyone else have anything on the show tonight?
I think I'm good.
I had meant to apologize to Andrew for ruining hummus for him. He's not he's not on, so I will just apologize to anyone else out there in general for ruining hummus for them.
You didn't ruin it for me. It's still good.
No? Okay. Yeah, it's delicious. I love it. But it is funny because I go to my refrigerator. Like if you have a brand new container of hummus, the way it looks, at least like the store-bought ones I got, it's got the little rings, the little ripples around it, and you can tell it like came out of some like nozzle and stuff. And it is like, except for the color, it looks like the nutritional food paste.
Oh yeah. Well, I spent many years in the food industry, and I've seen all manner of food production. And hummus production is not the worst.
Well, Will, we're wrapping up the show tonight. Do you want to tell people where they can follow you or find you out there on the interwebs?
Oh, yeah, I guess I'm just Will Wonka. Not as active as I once was. I, don't pay too much attention, but that's it, Will Wonka. And if you're really, really bored, want to see skateboarding, it's Will Pat Wonka on Instagram.
Awesome. Love the skateboarding. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Will.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to come on. Thank you.
And Ray, where can the people follow you, or what should they be paying attention to?
Well, there's a new episode of The Butcher Baker Candle Maker in Space coming soon. So keep an eye out for that. You can reach us at BBCISSS on Twitter, but the only time I ever check that Twitter is when I post the show. So
Hey,
just know that it could be a couple of weeks.
That's fantastic.
But then if you want to see absolutely nothing but the occasional reptile picture, you can follow me at RayLB on Twitter.
The reptile pics are worth it. Well, thank you so much, Ray.
Good times.
And you can follow me at Sleep is for Tea on the Twitter, as well as a few other things. The show is at the Fallout Feed. Thank you so much for tuning into this edition of the Fallout Feed, and we will see you in the wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.
And we're out.
Awesome possum.
How long was that?
Once I trim some of the silence, I can auto trim some of that.
Yeah.
It'll get down to probably 2.5 hours. So
sorry if that wasn't the best auditory game for like podcast
it was
listeners.
really cool though. The fact that I shouldn't ever second guess our audience because they're so awesome. Like they're as big nerds as we are. And they're in chat they're all going, no, this is fun. Oh, I love Will's games. Like, and I do too, but I'm like, I don't know about listening to us hum and haw. But no, they were down. So as long as they cut out the space, I think it'll be great.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a very clever game.